How we doing, everybody? Let me change this over. It's set to my gaming stuff. Set to my gaming stuff. How we doing, everybody? Check into the stream. Check in. Oops. Oops. Got my green screen background. Goodness. Help. There we go. All right. Everything is good now. What up, Last Life Crisis? Hello. It is Member Monday. Today is Member Monday, so the non-members are going to the Shadow Realm for about the first hour of the stream. So if you guys want to become a member of the channel and support Mercado Media, I would appreciate that, but don't feel obligated to. You don't have to, but if you want to, I'd appreciate that. Thank you, Nondast. All my members check into the stream. Also, you can go and watch on Facebook, Twitch, and X, but there's no chat on X, so you got Facebook and Twitch if you would like to. But we got a member day today, so I can see all my amazing members that have supported the page and the channel and etc. Nondast, Amonsky, what up, Jay, Lisa, Steph, Kristen, Kitty Cat, we got Adam, we got Lewis, we got Kane, we got Not Me Namo Namo Namo, Fancy Pants, we got Jay, we got XAJJ Killers, we got Catherine, Lisa, Bob's Burgers, we got Evan, Betty, hello Nell. Hope you guys had a good weekend too. LJ Boone, hope you guys did have a great weekend. I didn't cover the Nazi rally that took place yesterday, and that's what it was. Okay. No, let's just get that out of the way. That was an absolute Nazi rally. I watched obviously I watched my Vikings. You know, I watched some real entertainment. And even though we were up 48-3 or whatever, I watched to the very end. You know, something bad could have happened. And it could have went wrong, and we could have lost, but we didn't. So we ended up winning yesterday. Let's go Vikings. Came back. It was a great game. Watched it at my grandpa's house. But there was at no point were we ever going to cover that Nazi rally yesterday. So, I mean, there were some channels that did, and I was looking at the viewer count, and it was bad for them in terms of viewer count. Good. It would have been good if I would have done it, and I would have seen that number in my chat. I'd have been like, holy shit. But, like, for the person I was watching, that was a very low viewer count. The views themselves, I think, were botted. I mean, it just is what it is. A lot of the people that were brought there were bussed in, you know, or paid supporters to be there at the stadium. There were a lot of empty seats, actually. So a lot of the messages that were coming in about yesterday and the Memorial Nazi rally were not completely true, for what I had seen after the fact. Of course, thank you, Kristen. Of course. He said Wentz is Skulls QB. Yeah, he's a diehard Vikings fan. You grew up a Vikings fan, so it actually works out for Carson Wentz. And yeah, he had a good game. Had a really good game compared to what he's done in the past. But this has been his first opportunity to really come out during a game that matters. He played last year at like week 17 for the Chiefs. He played for a few other teams for the past few years, but he came out and did what he was supposed to do. Came out and did what he was supposed to do. Okay, so we got to wait until 3 o'clock, and it's not going to be the longest stream ever. Like, after the announcement, I'll give some takes, and then I got to go. I missed softball last week because of the news. I was late. I forgot what time it was, but we got 3 games tonight. I got to be there for my team. Got a triple header. 3 games. That's wild. So I got to be there for that later on tonight. Our first game's at 6. I got to get outside one night a week and touch grass, or I'm going to lose my brain. I've been losing a lot of my gaming viewers to the news too. I put a comment in the Discord server yesterday. I said, where is my snack squad for the past few months? And then I got a lot of responses saying, we're stressed over the news. You know, I built the gaming channel because I cover news, and we cover a lot of stressful things on the channel, a lot of chaos, a lot of stuff I'm involved with personally that's chaos. And, you know, you might not like gaming. It's fine. That's what I can offer. But try to find an outlet that you can take a break. Like, it's not your responsibility to solve this. It's not on you to solve the issues that are happening unless you're a policymaker and you're tuning in. I've had all types of government watch the streams. So, you know, if you're a government official, fucking do something. Do something! Or whatever. But, you know, if you're just a news consumer, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, you can donate to Mercado Media. No, you can donate to, but you know, anything that comes up, like we covered Ukraine for the past 3 years. It's still happening. There's plenty of people still fundraising to help Ukraine. You can do that, but that's just one example. You know, when protests are happening, you can support the protests. They need equipment and gear too. They need riot or tear gas protections and all types of stuff. So, I mean, there's plenty of opportunity to help as a news consumer if you're like having an existential crisis because of all the bad that is happening. But it's not on you. It's not your responsibility to fix it. And it won't be unless, again, unless you decide to go into government. And even then, it won't be your responsibility to be like everyone's responsibility. But, you'll have more power there. But, you don't have a whole lot right now. So try to find ways to take a break. You don't need to consume news for 23 hours a day. It'll be there tomorrow or the next day. You know what I mean? And just don't do that. Like, I watch my dad and my parents do that. And they obviously you guys are different ideology, most of you. But I watched that. I grew up with that. And my family would literally just watch the news until they couldn't anymore. And I'm like, that's not healthy. Yeah, it's not healthy at all. So try to find ways to balance your mental health. Find harm reduction pathways to figure all that out, because none of this is changing. We're still in the first year of his presidency. It's going to get worse. The opportunity to take an act has already came and passed. So we just kind of ride it out. The next opportunity to act will be in the midterms. We'll see how that goes. We'll see really how tired America is of this in the midterm elections next year. And that'll be a gauge to tell, okay, are we actually going to fight back, or are we actually going to just kind of wait until whatever happens in 2028? Who knows? Who really knows what's going to happen? Will there be elections? Will there not be? The way he's going with attacking free speech, the way their base became immediately, the Trump administration's got to be like, holy shit, we got a bunch of cult members that are going to turn in their neighbors, screenshot their social media posts, send it to our acolytes in MAGA and all of our little warriors on Twitter, and then have them lose their jobs for posting what they feel about Charlie Kirk. Meanwhile, you still have, to this day, people memeing on George Floyd, memeing on Melissa Hortman, memeing on every single tragedy that takes place, and people being Trump supporters or people that align with Trump supporters. They pretend like they're unbiased, or they pretend like they're moderate. They're not. They're right wing most of the time, majority of the time. Majority of the time you hear someone say I'm apolitical, they're right wing. Yeah, they've just convinced themselves that they're apolitical. And plus, who would want to be around that anyways? You want to be around people that are strong in their convictions, to be honest. Let's just get that out of the way. Anyone that's on the fence or is mid about it, have that be your friend for something else. You don't need to talk about the politics to that person. They don't know shit anyways. Why would you have a meaningful conversation about it with an apolitical person? That doesn't make any sense to me. How can you be on the sidelines during a time like this? That's just my take. I have friends where I just play softball with them. Don't talk about shit else. Don't need to. Or we play video games. I'm not going to go to this person and that's just my brain. Even my family, I don't say shit around people unless it's somebody I know I'm going to have a quality conversation with about actual issues. I don't spend any time trying to, because I already know how it's going to go. I'm going to come off as a dick, or I'm going to come off because I know more, and that's just what it is. You come off as a dick because you know more, because you're more aware of what's happening. And the person that's apolitical or moderate or doesn't follow politics is going to sound stupid. And then you're going to sound like an asshole because you know more than they do. And then they're going to try to claw their way out of it. This is how it goes every time. Every time they're going to try to claw their way out of the conversation and try to find a middle ground. And then you're both going to go, oh, isn't it great to have conversations, and then go do something else. So instead of having all of that, I have my certain friends for certain activities or certain situations. I don't keep friends, and talk about politics or news. Most of my friends, we don't actually ever, because I already know how it's going to go. I already know. There's very few, honestly, the only people I actually bounce off current events ideas to are my mods and my community sometimes in Discord, because they're chatting about it all day. You guys can join the Discord server. And the discussion thread's just been moving like crazy lately, so you can join that and just comment in there. But other creators and other YouTubers and stuff, I can bounce stuff off of them on what I feel. But today we're going to be covering some of that chaos and what's going on in the background, as well as review some of the Nazi rally from yesterday. Maybe some Ukraine news, a little update on that, and then we're waiting for the autism announcement at 3:00. So we still have some time. Still have about an hour and a half before that, but this is what the announcement is expected to give. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I'm gonna enlarge this a little bigger. You guys like my background a little better too? Try to add some more lighting. Make that a little bigger, chat a little bigger. Some more lighting in the background. The Trump administration is expected to link autism to Tylenol use during pregnancy. Interesting. Very interesting. The Trump administration is expected to assert later today that use of acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol, can increase the risk of autism when used during pregnancy, despite the fact that scientific research has not conclusively demonstrated a causal link. Never. This is a conspiracy theory, guys. So this was a conspiracy when I was like a kid, when I was young. But all of this shit just kind of was like in the fringe. All of this was there. All of this has been like, if you've never been right wing ever in your life, this is what right wingers have been talking about for at least 15, 20 years. And everything else that's happening. And that's like the conversations, and it's constant. And over time, you know, on the right wing, they've been hearing, they're about the same shit about the mainstream media. They're on the same shit you guys are about corporate this, and they're bad. But right wingers turn to fringe media. Okay, they then went from their Fox News, which is already fringe, to even more fringe. And they've been doing this for the past 20 years, 15, 20 years or more. So this conspiracy was in the right-wing fringe for a long time. So that's why you're going to see people today and likely beyond that are like supportive of this, because all of the Trump administration is doing is appeasing the most extremist and most conspiracy-brained people that are on the right wing that you can imagine. Okay. And this is just ridiculous. And I know a lot of family members are going to be looking at today's announcement to know, you know, hey, is the Trump administration going to institutionalize my kids for having autism? I don't know if they're going to try to link vaccines to autism as well, but they've tried doing that before. But in general, autism is complex. You know, genetics play the most of the role in who gets autism and who doesn't. There's some environmental factors that can influence like the levels of it. Like if you're in an environment that just doesn't give a fuck about the kid's autism and like doesn't try to alleviate that, like that could be very bad. And that they could be like the symptoms of it could be worse, I guess, or like the after effects could be worse or not, or it could be better. You know, if you're in a house that like has all of the mitigating factors of like of needs for the individual with autism, you know, that could be a better environment. And then the results vary in terms of like dealing with the person, but it's not a disease. I don't know if they're going to call it a disease today or not, but autism is not a fucking disease. And trying to link it to like pharmaceuticals or like modern day medicine is responsible for it is clown show. It's because we have more available ways to test for autism. It's because, and that's what it is. As we advance through time into the future, we have more ways to test for things and detect things and find ways to help people, which results in higher numbers of people having autism because we're testing for it more, and it's being recognized more in the youth. Like I know I have some type of autism. I've never been tested because I had parents that didn't believe in it. they didn't believe in it, guys. That's like a lot of conservative rhetoric too, because like facts could be a thing and evidence could be a thing, but then you could also have the fact that your family doesn't believe in it. So that holds a lot of things back, a lot of things. So I didn't believe in it, so I never got treatment or anything or a diagnosis or whatever. But I know for a fact I have that in some way, shape, or form. Definitely ADHD. Probably more than that, though. Doesn't matter. Like, I can sleep for 12, 15 hours, and I'll still wake up and get, like, an hour of shit done and then be tired again. And that's no caffeine, nothing. Just having a good night's sleep, drinking water, doing all that, making sure I'm hydrated. Nope, dead-ass tired. Ready to go to bed. I'm like, if I don't have caffeine or something that helps me get through my day. No matter how much sleep or how much I work out or take care of my body. Even in the military, I struggled with this. Served the whole 10 years in the military. Still struggled with it the whole time. I had to like, some days I just stayed up all night. Just stayed up all night long. And then just killed it the next day. Then I was tired. Then I went to bed. Then woke up the next day tired. Just whatever. So I got something mental going on. But it's not a disease. There's no disease here with that. It's just the way my brain is made up. I'm neurodivergent, but I don't have a diagnosis of that yet, so I can't I don't represent the. It would be weird for me to represent the neurodivergent community because I've never been tested. I've never had a diagnosis. So, but I already know. I just based upon others that have and the way that I know I am now, and I understand myself a little better. I know I have something, but I'm scared to get tested now because of Trump and all this. I'd rather just raw dog it still. I would rather raw dog it than take the risk of having a diagnosis and this fuck put me in a gulag because I have autism or something. That's what I'm actually afraid of, to be honest. If I'm being serious, the way that their rhetoric is, the way that they speak about anyone that isn't a white person that believes in Jesus Christ. We saw that so clearly for the past 2 weeks. If you're not a hardcore Christian nationalist, there's no place for you in this America. With the Trump administration and what MAGA wants, there's no room for it. And they can lie and pretend oh yeah, we like everybody. They use everybody. They use minorities. They use all types of people to further their own goal. And then when the end of the day comes, when it comes time to pruning who fits within their America, all the minorities, black, brown, MAGA, all the Samuel L. Jackson, Django characters, they're all going to get cut off. They're all going to get cut off eventually. If you're not a white Christian, looking like blonde hair, like Hitler's dream, basically. Okay? If you're not that, you are going to get cut out somehow. They're going to find something. It's not going to be like it was in the olden days where, I don't know, it could get that bad, where they just pull you to a chamber. But it's going to be slow, bureaucratic bullshit over time, slowly. And then they're going to make their moves when it's publicly acceptable. Because right now, obviously, we live in a different time period than the past. And we have the internet, and people are more self-aware. They're more involved. They're more connected to things outside of their own life. Not as much as they should be. But I think it wouldn't be as easy to just round people up that have neurodivergence or whatever to carry out their Nazism. It'd have to be slow and bureaucratic and come up with bullshit. And then slowly, over time, maybe 10 years, 15 years from now, and then you get to the point where people are like, oh, let's institutionalize people with autism. That's the better move. That's likely where this is going. And it is what it is. It's just the direction that the Trump administration's taking. If you're not worried about the most extreme case scenario ever, then that's why people are watching the news all the time. Because Trump and the Trump administration have only came out with the worst case scenario. They've only put forward the worst that it's going to happen, suppressing free speech. Jimmy Kimmel, what happened to Jimmy Kimmel was not an act by ABC by themselves. Was that was bad, Jimmy. We got to punish you, Jimmy. That was the Trump administration. That was the FCC chair, Brandon Carr, going on a Russian paid MAGA influencer and crying about Jimmy Kimmel and literally saying we can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way. Literally on his podcast, on this Russian paid PlayStation 2 character. God, looks like a PlayStation 2 NPC that sells you drugs in whatever game you're playing, or he gives you stims that have drugs on them. They make your character move fast or something. That's Benny Johnson, PlayStation 2 merchant. Okay, but he went on Benny Johnson's platform and literally was we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Literally said that. And then hours later, you got Nexstar and the other one, Sinclair, who own the broadcasting for the public airwaves, with given pressure. When given pressure by the FCC chair to make a move and to say, hey, we're going to cut Jimmy Kimmel. And that's a direct move from the government. It's not a private company making a decision, which many on Twitter, when you had prominent conservative voices getting deplatformed because they were lying about COVID, which that's all they do all the way for everything. They lied about COVID, lied about very significant situations. But anyways, the big one was COVID because people were dying in the millions and like it was a pandemic. And then yet a lot of right wing losers decide that they're going to craft their own narrative as to what COVID was and what it is and the vaccine. And like at first it was COVID. First it was COVID itself. That COVID was fake. Is I was right wing. I was right wing ish. I was right wing adjacent still. Let's just say that. I was already falling off of MAGA because MAGA was just a bunch of yeehaw cousin fucking losers. And I couldn't be a part of that, but I was still Republican, if that made sense. I don't know how to make sense of that now because MAGA is the Republican Party. But like back then, I was like, yeah, this is some bullshit. Like I'm still conservative. Fuck the liberals. But this is weird. Anyways, oh damn it! I lost my train of thought. But when I was Republican and I saw that MAGA was MAGA, I just wanted to fall off at that point. Like I wanted nothing to do with it. I lost my train of thought completely. Just kind of rambling at this point. But Nexstar and Sinclair. Oh, back to Twitter. Okay, so a bunch of people during COVID were lying about it. They lied about the virus and they lied about the vaccine. They just carry their lies from the virus to the vaccine. And then that caused a lot of social media platforms to then censor or ban conservative voices that were lying about the COVID vaccine. And if anything, maybe banning them was bad. They should have just added a community notes that they couldn't remove because that's also gamed. If you get community notes on this platform, which I hardly see them anymore. They're here. They exist. They do exist, but they're hardly ever seen now on posts. Like rarely. Back in like 2023, 2024, they were on like all the posts, but I think Elon was like, yeah, that's a bad idea too. So they got rid of that basically. It exists, but you don't see it. Okay. And they got community notes on Threads now. I think Threads has those, etc., etc. But anyways, there needed to be some type of mitigating control on the social media platforms about people that were lying about COVID. They still do to this day. They're still emboldened by their lies that they told 5 years ago. But there was an issue there because a lot of people were dying and people that were reading lies from their favorite right-wing host about COVID were like taking ivermectin and all types of other at-home personal use drugs and fucking themselves even worse. Or putting themselves out in situations to where they're for sure going to get COVID and then they end up in the ICU and then they have Pikachu surprised face as to why they have COVID and why they're like in the ICU, like dying. Okay. So there's a big issue there. And that was the first time ever that we had a free speech, like major, well, not the first time ever, but in modern day internet time, that's been so like a free speech issue. Is this free speech to lie about COVID? Yeah. It is, but you got this private social media platforms. There was zero pressure from the government. Yeah, they had Mark Zuckerberg came out, and you got Jack that said that there was COVID. They had precautions put out by the federal government, but never did the federal government demand that any of these platforms crack down on conservative liars for their misinformation. Do they ever step in and say, this is the government now? Hi, I'm the government, and you can't say that. Nope, but that's what Trump is doing. That's what Trump did with Jimmy Kimmel over the weekend. Let's get an update on that. And his show. A lot of people are shit. I know, can I be honest? Like, Jimmy Kimmel makes me laugh. Like, not all the time, not every time. But I think you had a lot of, like, liberal creators that were like, Jimmy Kimmel sucks, and shit. I'm like, that's your opinion, that's fine. But like I watch Jimmy Kimmel monologues and they make me laugh. I don't give a fuck. A lot of people were like, yeah, Jimmy Kimmel sucks, but he shouldn't lose his right. Like, not for me. I actually like Jimmy Kimmel. I think he was good. He's different than like he has his own flavor to it. He has his own flavor to it, obviously. My favorite one is Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart's the GOAT, even Stephen Colbert, right after him. I would put Jimmy Kimmel like third. But to say he's like not funny if you're like on the left, like I don't know. I mean, maybe your humor is broken. I don't know what to tell you, but this shit's funny. Like even the monologue he did that got him canceled was funny. That shit was funny as hell. but people like to give the right a little bit of a. I think a lot of people that are on the left like to play devil's advocate. Stop doing that. No, you don't need to. You don't need to play devil's advocate for the right. They don't do it for you. Stop doing it for them. So you don't have to say Jimmy Kimmel was unfunny. You can say Jimmy Kimmel was funny if you actually believe that. If not, though, obviously you have your own personal beliefs if you don't like him. New York City mayor candidate Mamdani withdraws from ABC town hall over Jimmy Kimmel suspension. Zohran Mamdani, the frontrunner in the New York City mayor race, dropped out of the oncoming town hall hosted by a local affiliate of ABC. Thank you, Ellie, for the 5 gifteds. And then we had 22 months from MC Lickle. If anyone owns a copy of GTA 5, watch the in-game TV show called Republican Space Rangers. I think isn't it GTA 4? There you go.
Republican Space Rangers, intergalactic war on terror. But don't worry about collateral damage or error.
Cause we're nuking hate, we're spreading freedom and liberty. Sometimes we kill with undue glee.
Oh, was that your home? Sorry!
Gotta complete the mission.
And possibly deny extraordinary renditions.
Spreading American values. Sometimes you gotta bomb an orphanage or two. Republican Space Rangers!
With the world
This was on GTA 5.
socialist by the day, who do you call Republican Space Rangers? They are Butch, the Commander, and Dick. In our last episode, the Rangers bravely attempted to save America by assassinating the president. Elated that his approval rating shot up to 98%, President Zane pardoned the Rangers and invited them for a low-calorie beer and a workout at the White House.
This is literally just Trump right now.
I'm sorry we tried to kill you, Mr. President. We didn't like you because you're an alien and because you's a liberal.
Oh, well, that's all right, boys. That's all right.
I'm kind of shit-faced. Hey, let me show you something funny. If I tuck it between my legs, I look like a little girl, only hairy. Hoorah! Well, I can guarantee you that that's going to be the last time
Fort
we
Flaccid.
get invited back to the White House. Oh, I'm sorry, Commander. Hey, they can always rebuild that stupid monument, right? Perhaps, but they won't be able to get the wee-wee stains out of the First Lady's cocktail dress.
You do love a blackout, Dick.
Always have.
Gentlemen, if you can stay focused, I have a dangerous mission for you. I need you to pack this in.
You're asking why all the phallic symbolism, and yet you have Republicans asking about trans people and what gay people are doing behind closed doors every day. What do you mean? This is perfect. That's all they talk about is dicks and vaginas and whether or not they're mixed together. And like who has what out here. How big is it? Like that's Republicans all day long. That's all they care about.
And hand it out at the mall.
Hoo-wee! We're giving civilians live rounds? Ex-a-fucking-land!
Oh, no. Our new ammunition is knowledge.
What?
These are military leaflets about how knowledge is understanding. The policy of don't ask, you don't want to know, has been lifted. Your job is to head to the mall to recruit.
The policy of don't ask, you don't want to know.
The U.S. military now allows anyone and everyone to be a space ranger.
What the fuck? Anyone? You gotta be shitting me, egghead. Listen up. I will not, repeat, will not serve with women or open homosexuals.
Oh, I love the mall. If you peek over the top of a changing room, it's like a live show.
I ain't handing out no fruity cake leaflets. I need real military hold-down shit. I mean entire planets on fire, screaming children, you know, that sort of thing.
Also, here are your new squad mates under our rewritten tolerance policy. Private Luke.
Sir.
And First Sergeant Vanessa.
Commander.
A girl?
Girls fight like kitty cats.
And a gay dude? How am I supposed to focus on killing the enemy's family and burning his house down if I'm worried about some guy looking at my hoo-ha?
Now, it's a hoo-ha on the front of the
My
back.
hoo-ha.
I'll show you. It's in
Okay. That goes on for 12 minutes. Okay, y'all get it. Okay, you gotta play Grand Theft Auto 5. Play Grand Theft Auto 5 for that one. That's crazy. That's fucking hilarious. So that game was in 2013. That game is from 2013, 12 years ago. Holy shit. Yep. Republican Space Rangers. The Republicans that are behind the paywall right now are so mad. They're so mad right now. They're probably unsubscribing. Unsubscribe, that'll show them. Mercado, I can't wait till you lose your platform. Yep. I've been saying that for 5 years. Been saying it for 5 straight years. You haven't played that in years. It's on TV. You got to watch it on the. You got to watch it on the. See, you got to really play Grand Theft Auto. If you just played through the story, you didn't play Grand Theft Auto. You got to watch all the TV shows that are on. You got to listen to the radio and all the radio shows. Me and my cousin would listen to the. I can't remember who the person was. That did the radio in Grand Theft Auto back in the day. But we listened. I think it was on Grand Theft Auto 3. We listened to the whole show. It was in 2 hours. 2 hours of show, and we listened to all of it. I remember who it Weasel. Who was the dude that did the? God, I can't remember the name of the guy in that game who did the radio. Chat, anyone know? I don't have all my Grand Theft Auto players are behind the member paywall. Damn it. We'll see. That's so funny. Chatterbox? No, it wasn't Chatterbox. It was something else. It was something else indeed. Okay, let's go to Asen. While we're waiting for the autism announcement in an hour. So we'll just go through some of the clips and some of the remarks. Laszlo, that's the one. There you go. There you go, chatters. Laszlo. No, Laszlo. You even have to protect him in one of the missions in Grand Theft Auto 5. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for him. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. So you have this big Christian white nationalist event, right? And a bunch of prayer and a bunch of people holding their hands up and feeling the Holy Ghost go inside them. And they're standing there and just having seizures and shit. And it's just this whole thing was a big, just Christian white nationalist rally. And then you have Donald Trump going up there, which if any of these Christians actually believed what they think they believe, that this couldn't be a thing. You couldn't have the president go up and say these words at such a religious event.
In that private moment on his dying day, we find everything we need to know about who.
Thank you, Twitch. Thank you, Nomad.
He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent. In that private...
I hate my... We know. Well, we know that. We know you hate your opponents. That's obvious based upon what you truth every day and what you post on your social media. But, that's kind of against the teachings of the Bible, isn't it? Matthew 5:44 at this Christian nationalist rally. In the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 44, we're doing Bible because these people are fake Christians, and I don't believe in that anymore, but I'll tell you guys how the truth, okay? Is a Bible verse in which Jesus said, "But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." Wow. And that's what Matthew said. He said it. They wrote it in the Bible, I guess. Things that Christians use. They sometimes. This command calls for radical kindness and forgiveness, extending love and prayer even to those who actively oppose or harm you, rather than returning hatred or seeking vengeance. The key aspects of Matthew, chapter 5 in Matthew. Love your enemies, pray for persecutors, context, divine example, and some revolutionary teaching within there. Here's the actual verse. But I love you. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. And that's why you'll have a lot of MAGA Christians say, "I'll pray for you," because they're actually, in a way, living out their Bible in the book of Matthew. Okay, because that's the verse that tells you that about what you're supposed to do to your enemies. But Donald Trump obviously is not a Christian, doesn't believe in God, doesn't believe in any of that, and but he grifts it. And that's, I think, what a MAGA does, is they don't actually believe in the teachings that they grift off of and lie off of, but they will they'll still use it anyways and look like an idiot. I had a bunch of Caroline Levitt stuff. Let's go back here. Let me see here. Oh, you had the whole the entire Stephen Miller speech, which was literally just like Goebbels. This is Antichrist full stop, what he says here, as though he is valiantly speaking for righteousness.
The light will defeat the dark. We will prevail over the forces of wickedness and evil. They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us. Because we stand for what is good, what is virtuous, what is noble. And to those trying to incite violence against us, those trying to foment hatred against us,
we're victims. We're victims.
What do you have?
A lot.
You have nothing.
No.
You are nothing. You are wickedness, you are jealousy, you are envy, you are hatred. You are nothing. You can build nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing.
This is all projection, by the way. All projection. Because you're in a room full of people that don't do any of that. None of that. They create for their own right-wing brand. Like, there's content creators and shit in there and, like, influencers. But all they do is just influence people into the right-wing alt-right grift, which is literally a bunch of nothing. It's just like a cabal of, like, of human flesh, of a bunch of people that stand against, like, progress and stand against actual good in the world. These people are literally just a roadblock to that.
We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create.
No.
We are the ones who lift up humanity.
That's cringe. We're the ones who do all that. We create. We do humanity stuff. We're the humans. No weirdo. No fucking weirdo. That's like what. That's who's leading the right wing. You got the announcement on Autism stream already up, so we'll get to that in a second. Let's go to see the whole thing. Stephen Miller delivers heated remarks.
When I see Erica and her strength and her courage, I am reminded of a famous expression. The storm whispers to the warrior that you cannot withstand my strength. And the warrior whispers back, I am the storm.
That's all from QAnon, by the way. Okay, all of this that they're doing right now is from QAnon shit. Like they're boy, I think like MAGA really did an MK Ultra on MAGA. And I don't know how to really like explain that yet, but as coming from the right wing and from all of this for the past 10, 15, 20 years, all of that has been primed in MAGA and right-wing conspiracy belief. The storm is QAnon speak. And let me try to find that for you. QAnon, the storm. The storm is coming. And there you go. They're using words that call back to what they already are comfortable with their old conspiracies. The storm is coming. Analyzing the belief in QAnon. Damn, that's a university class taught that. Hillary Copeland, conspiracy theories attempt to. Oh, they need something better than that. QAnon, the calm before the storm, into the storm. Q into the storm. That's what it was. And that and then their whole thing in QAnon was spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare, and basically all this outward Christian nationalist thing you're seeing was all in the fringe. Like, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 2020. All those people out there with the QAnon Bible and QAnon bullshit all have all of these words like ready. prepare for the storm.
Anybody, I'll show them Q proofs. Say, look, talk me out of it. Have you heard of
the Q? The what?
QAnon?
Have you heard of the Q?
What had started in an online forum had crawled out from behind the screen to the seat of power, all with the help of a single letter.
And we're gonna win big. You just watch.
In 2018, I set out to chart Q's origins.
I wrote the first part of 8chan while I was coming off of psychedelic mushrooms.
You can really find yourself falling down a hole trying to find out who Q is.
I'm pretty sure Q is a spin-off from Star Trek.
Q is whatever you want it to be. Sometimes they'll even think it's me.
I have a question. You're going through a possible list of who Q might be.
That's right. You're on the list.
Well, let's continue then.
Bunch of weirdos.
Yes, ideas. That's a scary idea.
People conspiracy theorize about things that they think are powerful.
What did we conspire against?
Followers try to discredit reporters because we're required to find out if it's true or not.
It seems like Q's gone mainstream.
They don't care about all the people dying. They're lunatics running the asylum.
You can't expect to get counterpunched.
We have to go. We need to move.
Game over.
This Q thing is just exponential growth.
I think people are worried it's going to be used to radicalize more people.
There's a guy in the wheelchair. He helped code part of 4chan.
Do you think that that is warranted?
And this guy's or 8chan, sorry, not 4 or whatever he said. And this guy's a administrator on 8chan, which those are like deep internet forums. Like, don't go there. Don't go there. You're going to, but don't. Okay, so you could have watched that. I think I watched part of that documentary. It was on HBO, where they talk about it. But all of that leads back to the same rhetoric I'm hearing from Stephen Miller from those QAnon days and the QAnon conspiracies and Into the Storm and spiritual warfare and all this bullshit that they're fighting this. They're fighting they're really trying to marriage the left with like demonic forces, and they've been doing that for 20 years. If you ever actually listen, if you're actually in conservative conversations, ones where they don't have to pretend to be bipartisan and ones where they don't have to pretend to be like we're all in this together like they do when they're like under attack, they pretend that they really think the left are like liberals. And by the way, liberals are the left, so if you're like further left than liberal, like you're gonna have to accept eventually that liberals are the far left, and that's gonna make you feel weird. But like anyone that's other than Trump supporter is far left. I'm far left to MAGA, and I am the least far left. Like if I'm the far left, imagine how left the left is. Holy fuck. Okay. But anyways, in conservative spaces, this is what is talked about. They marriage religion with it, they marriage Christianity with their politics, and then the left being anyone left of Donald Trump now, anyone left of MAGA, that is like even Republicans, even conservatives that don't like Trump, you're gonna be a leftist eventually too if you haven't already been called one. They are these demonic forces, and I'm not telling you guys conspiracies right now. I'm not making this shit up. I'm not just coming out of nowhere with this. This is facts. This is fact. They view Democrats and liberals and the left as demonic forces, which is why they're even going harder and marrying religious doctrine and bullshit with their politics, and which is why immediately after Charlie Kirk was murdered, the left was blamed because it fits their narrative of like the left is this evil demonic force that they need to defeat with spiritual warfare that they've been using since QAnon and before that, though, in other ways. I only know about I really only got connected to like with a fringe after Obama, really, which by design, right? Being on the internet.
Erica is the storm. We are the storm. And our enemies cannot comprehend our strength, our determination, our resolve, our passion. Our lineage and our legacy hails back to Athens, to Rome, to Philadelphia, to Monticello. Our ancestors built the cities. They produced the art and architecture. They built the industry.
That's also white nationalism, by the way. He's doing white national. He's saying our people. He's talking about white people. Okay, he's doing, because also on X, and this is another. People have done videos on this, but whenever you see like accounts that do like old timey shit and show like architecture and say, wow, look at how we used to have it and this and that, they're Nazi accounts. They're Nazi accounts trying to say that, oh, white people made the world so good, and now look at the left in combination with minorities and people that aren't white have done to the world. And they blame all of the problems of the world on the fact that that as a culture of society, we've moved further progressive, I guess, to try to have better opportunities for everybody except for some. And then also the ethnic part of it, as to anyone that isn't white, or like what their idea is, like similar to Hitler, didn't do shit for this country, didn't do shit for anything. Okay, so this is more white nationalist Nazi speak from Stephen Miller.
Erica stands on the shoulders of thousands of years of warriors, of women who raised up families, raised up city, raised up industry.
What industry and what cities did they raise up? What industry and cities has Turning Point USA raised up? This is insane. You know how many people that didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was, actually? And it made me realize, oh fuck, maybe I am connected to politics too much, because Charlie Kirk is just like, he just comes with MAGA for me. He's a MAGA figure, like, of course, but for a lot of people, they have no idea. They didn't know who Charlie Kirk was.
Up civilization, who pulled us out of the caves and the darkness into the light. The light will defeat the dark. We will prevail over the forces of wickedness and evil.
Thank you, Steph, for the gifted. I appreciate that.
They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us. Because we stand for what is good, what is virtuous, what is noble. And to those trying to incite violence against us, those trying to foment hatred against us, what do you have? You have nothing. You are nothing. You are wickedness, you are jealousy, you are envy, you are hatred. You are nothing. You can build nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create.
Look at all the empty seats. I tried to say that every seat was sold out. You can literally see the empty spaces.
Nothing. We are
all types of empty spaces. You could say, well, that's just the bad views. And they're the ones that said the shit was completely sold out to capacity.
The ones who build. We are the ones who create. We are the ones who lift up humanity. You thought you could kill Charlie Kirk? You have made him immortal. You have immortalized Charlie Kirk.
What a way to say, like, number one, if you believe in God and you're religious, nobody's immortal. So, like, all of this language between him and then Trump are literally the opposite of what Christianity is supposed to preach. And no human being is immortal. What are we talking about? What type of Christianity is that? God said, you will be immortal if you believe in me. That's what God said, I guess. He didn't say it, but that's what Jesus said that in Galatians 4:20. That if you believe in me, you will be immortal on earth. You'll have everlasting life in heaven, is how usually that goes. It's in heaven, though. Nothing about earth and how you'll be like a god on earth while you're in heaven. And like they will worship you on earth. That's wild. Russell Fox, thank you for being a supporter.
And now millions will carry on his legacy. And we will devote the rest of our lives to finishing the causes for which Charlie gave his last measure of devotion. You cannot defeat us. You cannot slow us. You cannot stop us. You cannot deter us. We will carry Charlie and Erica in our heart every single day and fight that much harder.
We will use Erica and Charlie to grift the MAGA every step of the way.
Because of what you did to us. You have no idea. The dragon you have awakened. You have no
I didn't see that part. The dragon you have awakened.
idea how determined we will be.
Thank you, Dingo, for being a supporter.
Civilization, to save the West, to save this republic.
To save the West. To save the West.
Because our children are strong, and our grandchildren will be strong, and our children's children's children will be strong. And what will you leave behind? Nothing. Nothing. To our enemies, you have nothing to give, you have nothing to offer, you have nothing to share, but bitterness. We have beauty, we have light, we have goodness, we have determination, we have vision, we have strength. We built the world that we inhabit now, generation by generation, and we will defend this world. We will defend goodness, we will defend light, we will defend virtue. You cannot terrify us, you cannot frighten us, you cannot threaten us, because we are on the side of goodness, we are on the side of God.
We're on goodness on the side of God.
Goodness, we are on the side.
Well, what a bunch of bullshit. Dragon breathing. This speech is much better in its original German. Literally. Literally. I wish it could just put German translate, and then you'll hear it. Someone needs to translate Stephen Miller into German, and then have it in German out loud, and then you'll be like, oh, fuck. That sounds familiar. Sounds similar. You got the White House. So they got the announcement on autism in 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Ask ChatGPT. Well, the chat will open up in 6 minutes. 6 minutes. I also have a couple other videos for you guys. My watch later, I think. Where'd it go? I saw a video, hold on the alt-right. There you go. Oh, it's really 40 minutes long. It's a good one, though. How to radicalize a normie. I guess we could do the alt-right playbook while we wait. We have like, we could watch this before it starts. Let's do the alt-right playbook and introduction. All this is relevant. All this is absolutely relevant today. And also I can tell you, because I never got into like the actual like extremist stuff about it. But if I would have kept going into the rabbit hole of right-wing content, maybe I could have. If I didn't come out in the right end of it. But I don't know. I think my own morals kicked in before that could have happened. I like to hope so. But a lot of this, you know, people don't get off of it, and they keep going down the right-wing rabbit hole.
Say, for the sake of argument, you run a modestly successful YouTube channel.
Yay!
And given the current political reality, you're thinking of doing some videos on the alt-right. Let's say
Yay!
You've been trying to understand the alt-right for some time and would like to do a series that tackles the big questions. What are the rhetorical strategies the alt-right uses to legitimize itself and gain power? How do these strategies work? Why do they work? How do we keep from falling for them? And, importantly, how do we catch ourselves when we start using them too? You're thinking of calling this series the Alt-Right Playbook. Setting aside that any lefty who makes a YouTube series with alt-right in the title will see their life go to hell, there are 3 things you'd have to clarify from the get-go. First, what is the alt-right? For clarity's sake, you'd have to tell people that the alt-right is a pack of loosely aligned groups and individuals.
Loosely aligned losers. Sorry.
That have existed for quite a while at the peripheries of American.
It's opposite now. Now it's inverse. This video came out 7 years ago. A 7-year-old video. Now, if you did this graph, the Republican Party is on the outside, on the purple, and the alt-right's on the inside. Just in 7 years since this video came out. Holy.
Conservatism, but have recently gained footholds in the Republican Party proper. The term alt-right implies more or less what you think it would, positioning themselves as the young, edgy nirvana to the antiquated motley crew of 70s and 80s conservatism. They seek to replace and critique the likes of Barry Goldwater and Ronald Reagan for being, let's not mince words here, not reactionary enough. The alt-right, the people who adopt the label and those who just parrot their talking points, has high overlap with white supremacist think tank the National Policy Institute, Stormfront and the Ku Klux Klan, Breitbart News and various sections of 4chan, 8chan, and Reddit, sections of the asshole atheist community, anti-feminist YouTube, pickup artists and rape apologists, the not all men, all lives matter and Gamergate crowds, and basically anyone who uses the terms social justice warrior or virtue signaling.
This was back in 2016 period time. This is when it all started then, for the loop that we're in right now that we're not going to get out of until Trump and MAGA are absolutely gone.
Ironically. Not everyone in these groups is in the alt-right, but the alt-right traffics at the intersection between them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a wide range.
And that's why it was easy. That's why it's easy for a young male, late teens, early 20s to get into this. Okay, it's super easy, because all you're doing is just watching content you think you like, which it's fine if you don't listen to their politics. But that's what got me into it, was just watching YouTube. I was watching YouTube videos and content creators I thought were like aligned with what I thought.
Differing and frankly incompatible ideas about government and the social order among these groups, but as it gains power, the alt-right is congealing into a somewhat cohesive ideology. And the reason they matter at this moment in history is that of all the people in the 2016 primaries, only one was the alt-right candidate. And while not everyone who voted for him is in the alt-right, they are his base, his most ardent supporters, and they carried him all the way to the White House.
And still do.
Next, you'd want to clarify why they're called the alt-right. Alt-right is a term coined by National Policy Institute president, avowed white nationalist, and professional speedbag Richard Spencer. The term is meant as a euphemism, a way of painting a happy face on racism. And that's not an opinion. One of the stated aims of Spencer's organization is the removal of non-whites from American society. And the purpose of rebranding white supremacy with a term like alt-right is so mainstream white people are not made to feel like racists when they vote for racist people with racist policies.
Exactly. So the video's kind of dated. It's not, I mean, it's an old video, but it's still relevant. All of this is still relevant. We are in a loop. We haven't left the 2015-16 loop. We're back in it, but now Republicans are about cancel culture and talking and being social justice warriors for Charlie Kirk and shit. We're flipped. We're inversed, but we're still in the same 10-year loop of the 2016 election. So all of this is we're still feeling it right now. All right, GG's members. All right, time to open up the chat. You still got to subscribe to the channel to leave a comment though, because we have a lot of trolls. So you still have to hit that subscribe button to leave a comment, but GG's to all the members.
So every time a journalist writes an article about the dapper fashions of the alt-right and doesn't title it Lipstick on a White Supremacist Pig, that journalist is being a coward and treating a hate group with kid gloves basically because the hate group asked them to. So, you might want to clarify why you put that euphemism in the title of your videos. And, well, you'd have to explain that while the alt-right is racist, they're not only racist. They're also misogynist, anti-feminist, Islamophobic, xenophobic, homophobic, transphobic, classist, ableist, authoritarian, and fiercely anti-intellectual. So if you...
All of that. Does that not match the Republican Party of today? Like completely? This is the Republican Party. There is nothing about the Republican Party that isn't any of this. This was just the fringe back in the day. This is now what controls the whole GOP. The whole of the GOP. Every Monday is Member Monday. It gets opened after an hour. So if you watch on Mondays and you're not a member, you have to sit and stand back and stand by. And then when I open it back up, you can chat. I used to have it the whole stream. The whole stream used to be Member Monday, but I changed that one. So thank you to all the members that keep it going.
You just did a find and replace of each instance of alt-right with white supremacist, you'd actually be leaving a lot out. That's not much of a defense for the term alt-right, it just paints a happy face on a bunch of horrible stuff, but it is useful to have a term that refers to the whole cluster, and you don't have the kind of internet pull where if you coined your own term,
poo-poo butt faces.
So you'll just have to promise not to use alt-right as a euphemism. When the alt-right is racist, you will have to call them racist. When the alt-right is homophobic, you'll have to call them homophobic. If you're stuck with their term, don't use it the way they want you to. Third, you'd have to cover how to engage with the alt-right, which is actually pretty straightforward. Don't. The reasoning there may not be immediately obvious, especially if you, say, once devoted an entire video to the importance of talking to anti-feminist hate mobs. So you'll have to explain. You have since then learned how such debates with the far right often go, thanks to conversations with people who have more lived experience than you. If some guy on Twitter shoots his mouth off about how, for instance, only precious snowflakes would care about how many black women are getting roles in Hollywood, maybe you push back on that. Maybe the conversation gets heated. Maybe you debunk his arguments, make your points, and he walks away in a huff. For you, the interaction is over. But for folks on the far right, it often isn't.
They double down. The
far right keeps mental lists of people who represent the things they're mad about.
Exactly. Liberal media figures. That's why they constantly repeat the same few people, like Nancy Pelosi, Biden, Obama. Like they're fixated. It's a sickness. It's a sickness. They're sick people.
The symbol of the liberal media, the symbol of video game feminism, the symbol of trans activism. FYI, these are usually women and people of color.
Like always. Like usually always. What do you think Charlie Kirk brought up all black women when he was shitting on DEI policies? And how, I would want a white male named Chris or whatever they said, whatever Pacific said, and then Charlie Kirk doubled down. But usually 9 times out of 10 is women and people of color, or women of color. Well, usually it's that one. Most of the times it's women of color, and then it's people of color, and then all women after that point.
And these people aren't people to them. They're just icons for a thing. And the way they express anger about those things is to attack those people. So while you leave the argument and have a lie down, eat a sandwich, feel better, he may
do your life.
He vents his frustration by hacking the email of whomever represents black women in Hollywood this week. This doesn't happen every time, or even most times, but it happens reliably enough that anytime you try and debate with a reactionary, you are gambling with someone else's safety. The purpose of debating these people is not to change their minds, but to stem the flow of lies and bad rhetoric.
I would put minorities over women in general, because women in general can still go right wing and still have an opportunity to like have moderate success in politics or in life if they're right wing. Right? It's still you still gotta be subservient to men and only men and still have that, but like women find success by going right wing, unfortunately.
Alt-right is always recruiting, always trying
to... But even then you're held back, though. You're still super held back, but...
expand its audience. And there are ways to reach their intended audience without engaging them directly. It's not only safer, it's often more effective to cut out the middleman, speak past them, not to them. If your purpose is to actually change the mind of a reactionary, well... doing that right is tricky, and doing it wrong can have serious consequences. So until you know for sure how to change the mind of a reactionary without fucking somebody else's life up, do not engage. Once you've got those 3 bits cleared up, the rest of your announcement is just housekeeping. Because there are a whole lot of topics to discuss, you'll want to keep the videos short and to the point, and you'll have to alternate them with videos in your more usual wheelhouse, or else after a few months of nothing but this, videos would just be 5-minute blocks of sustained screaming. You'll try to release them in batches when the subjects interlock, but you'll also try not to make any promises about your schedule. And you'll have to clarify that anything you say, no matter how insightful or well-researched, is ultimately your opinion, and invite people to expand or push back on your ideas, provided they can do so civilly. And you'll have to be clear that if people are coming to you for solutions, you do not, as of now, have any. You're not at solutions yet. Maybe you will be by the end of this, but for now, all you know is, if you want to win, you have to understand why you've been losing. And if you want to defeat an enemy, you have to know how your enemy thinks.
And that's how I operate my channel. Because I get so many people that complain, why are we watching this? I don't want to hear this. Oh, I heard Trump's voice. If you don't know how your enemy works or thinks, you're not going to win. No matter how, I hate Trump. MAGA. I am so against MAGA. I am so against them. If you don't know how they work and think and how they operate, you're useless. I'm going to be honest. What are you good for? You're like an acolyte. You don't want to be an acolyte. You don't want to be an acolyte. Because then you're going to be put in acolyte situations, and acolytes don't make it. Okay? You're going to be used as a tool. Instead of knowing how they operate, you're going to be able to do more. You're gonna be able to contribute more to your space that you're against Trump and against MAGA or whatever. If you want to. If you don't want to, if you want to just go and eat your sandwich and do whatever he said, then do that too. But if you're like if you're actually like active and doing stuff, then you have to know how they operate. You have to know what they think about, how they get their information. You have to go after the source. And if you don't do that, and if you're just like MAGA bad, then I mean that you can have that opinion too. You can just have that, be like MAGA bad, Trump bad. That's all I know. That's fine. But don't expect to like engage in any serious like debate about it. You're going to get cooked. You're going to get destroyed.
Then all that's left to say is welcome to the alt-right playbook.
And we have to get into that even more as time goes on. Like as long as time goes on with the news and more information is coming in, and we got the autism announcement, like going into what that is and who teaches it. It's no different than when Russia invaded Ukraine and we were watching the Russian state media and what all their, now I know all of the Russian media operatives. I know them by name now. I didn't know them by name beforehand. I was just watching what Twitter was telling me the Russians were saying. Why would I do that? Instead of we can watch what the Russians are saying directly and still be against it. Not watching it as like, oh, do they have good ideas? Do they have some? No, I'm strong in my convictions. I'm strong in what I believe in. I don't need anyone else to tell me what to believe in. Unless it's like literally some new information that I'm ignorant to. But any information that I'm confident in, there's nobody's moving me on that. Nothing's moving me on that. So if like you're not confident in your convictions and you're not confident in your beliefs, then maybe stay away from this, because then you could be swept up into it because you're not confident in your convictions and what you believe in, and you're not, maybe you don't know that stuff yet. Don't do this then. If you like aren't confident in all that, then you're not set in how you believe, and you're like, don't start going into what the enemy or what the perceived enemy is, because then you could get swept up into it. But only people that are like strong in what they believe in, they know about it, then you can start going into the rabbit hole, because you have that shield. You have that protection of like, I'm strong in what I believe in, and nothing that I hear is going to change that. It's more so like I'm in this to infiltrate actually and figure out what the fuck is going on. And then I can tell you what's happening afterwards while still being against it. But you got to get involved into it a little bit. If you want to, don't. If you don't, then don't. It's a dirty world. It's a dirty world. I discussed the rise of Christian nationalism with Michael Tracy. Michael Tracy is such a sweat, gross ball. Look at him. The guy that lied about the NATO. Look at him. Ew. I actually saved a bookmark from Whitlock, who is a he's a Samuel Jackson Django character. Jason Whitlock, who used to be on ESPN. We have to listen to him. What you're witnessing is Christian nationalism. If you're ashamed of it, that's your problem, not mine. You've been brainwashed by Marxists to believe that wanting government respectful of Jesus Christ is a bad thing. I've rejected the brainwashing. The memorial is awesome. Yeah, like the founding fathers, I guess, and the Constitution. I guess that's the brainwashing. I'll tell you, Jason Whitlock is Uncle Ruckus. And all of them that are like them. This is Jason Whitlock.
Man, this chicken gonna be off the chain. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm gonna get some chicken. I can't wait.
So you kids don't know how lucky you have it. All my life, we only had 11 herbs and spices. This is a whole new... Oh, man.
Several hours later. That was for the Popeyes chicken sandwich.
Special with lots of hot sauce and all the fries you can give me.
Boy, wake up.
This is when the chicken sandwich came
It's
out.
almost chicken time. What? I can't believe what you telling me. What? No way. No goddamn way. Hell no. What is it? These motherfuckers talking about they out of chicken. What? Listen.
Welcome to Colonel's Fried Chicken. Unfortunately, we are out of chicken at the moment. Please go away until we have more chicken. Thank you. God bless.
They ran out of chicken?
Oh man, this is some old bullshit.
No chicken? You mean I ain't gonna be able to get that bucket?
How can they be out of chicken? It's Colonel's Fried Chicken!
This is outrageous. This is an outrage.
Hello, 911? No, I ain't calling a snitch. I got a real emergency. Yeah, I hope.
Some of us have been looking forward to this day for a long, long time.
Merc, why are you being anti-Semitic towards the followers of Jesus the Jew? Is that the take now? Is that the anti-Semitism? Is you're anti-Semitic if you shit on Christians? Oh my God. No, I'm not even. No, go fuck yourself. No, literally go fuck yourself.
Hello, my emergency? These fools done ran out of chicken.
Holy fuck. That's the first time I was worried that was going to happen. I was going to see that, but here we are. We saw it.
Unfortunately,
I ain't sleeping this motherfucker until I get my chicken. I ain't got no doubt. You better give up. That's what they do. Keep screwing the little man. They're not going to get away with this. You're right. Hey, he's right. It's time for us to fight back. Let's knock some motherfuckers out about this chicken. We are not going to take it anymore. Damn! No chicken! Dinosaur bull!
Tonight, civil unrest explodes in several major American cities. There have been reports of fires, looting, and violence in the streets, all over a fast food promotion gone terribly wrong. As the first customers tasted the new secret recipe, reviews were stellar.
Yo, motherfucker, this shit is bad as fuck. Yo, put this shit in your mouth, man. Eat that motherfucker. Eat it.
But early on in the day, there were signs of trouble. Impatient crowds, drive-through lines stretching for miles, scuffles between tired and hungry customers.
How you gonna say you got chicken and you ain't got no chicken? You knew y'all was gonna do this for a year. How am I supposed to feed my family now?
You guys are laughing, but you know this is based off a true story.
I want my chicken.
The Boondocks did shit off of things that happened, like for real.
My babies want their chicken.
Where's the? I want the Uncle Ruckus part. That shit's hilarious. Oh, this is the part where you. I wanted the Uncle Ruckus part.
Try to kill each other.
Shut up. Do what Ruckus says and don't mess up my house.
Come on, me and this punk fool right here.
Okay, first of all, ain't nobody talking while I'm talking, so shut the fuck up. My name is Uncle Ruckus, and I will be nigger-sitting you two until your grandfather returns. Your granddaddy picked me because I am a licensed zoologist. I have studied a variety of wild animals, and the African male is by far the most savagely cunning. This is an opportunity to observe you niggers in your natural habitat and collect data. But be warned, whatever nigger trickery you got up your sleeves does not affect me.
That's Jason Whitlock, and others like him. That's Jason Whitlock. Yeah, it is what it is. You should have watched. You should have been there. You had to watch the show. That was the see that I think watching those shows kept me from going full alt-right. You know what I mean? Like, cause I watched all those shows. I watched all that and made fun of it. I watched everything. I watched the Chappelle show before he went off the crazy into the right wing. But even then, like, because he would make fun of all of the people that were like what Chappelle is like embraced. He used to make fun of all of them. Now he's like embraced them for like this free speech thing. It's like kind of weird. I don't think Chappelle's kind of funny though. But he's definitely leaned further into the politics of it instead of just the comedy, which sucks. But old Chappelle though made fun of all the racist people and like all of the bigoted people and did comedy about it. And I think that's the best way to do it back in the day. And you got to talk about it. You got to talk about it and how they are. You can't pretend like those people aren't out here. They are. And the best way is to make fun of them, actually mock them. And then some will fall off because they don't like being mocked. Okay. But you have to. Like, what are you going to do? There's no political violence. No political violence, people. What does Roddy Road Streamer say? No political violence, people. So if you're like, Merc, what are we going to do? Make fun of them. Make memes. That's all. Like, what else is there? Like, there's no, you're not going to take to the streets with firearms. So you're not going to do that. Yeah. You're going to get put in prison or like a fucking gulag. Or go through exactly what we just went through throughout the last week or so when you take violence to someone you don't like, right? You don't do that. So you make fun of them. And that's like what the culture around politics used to be. And culture war shit used to be. Where's oh, Robbie. So you make fun of it all. That's why I like Brent Terun's platform, where he just makes fun of people. Charlie Kirk's final trolling. Like this shit.
Russell, great to see you. Grateful to be here.
I'm not Gary the Guantanamo Gator. Charlie, you've been avoiding me for debating.
Thank you.
Don't touch me, though. We can do this with love. Charlie,
This is important. It's the Guantanamo Gator. Charlie, I want to follow up on some of the Guantanamo Gators questions. Keep talking, this is good.
Why won't you debate me, Charlie?
And why don't you debate it?
You simply outsmart them. That doesn't work either. Nope. No, it's not simple either. I just played. Did you not just watch the video we just went to about the alt-right? And when you outsmart them, what happens? They just double down. Outsmarting them doesn't do shit. You gotta literally make fun of them and meme on them, and that while outsmarting them too. You gotta do both. You can't just do one or the other. Outsmart them, but that's not good enough. That doesn't do anything. They don't do anything with that. They just think you're indoctrinated by the woke lib. The woke gotcha. And you've been indoctrinated by the indoctrination camps of the college campuses. So you think you know everything until they hit you with that one. Then what do you say? Then what do you do?
Charlie, you and me, but I'm still gay SummerSlam.
He's perfectly reasonable. Debate him now. Why do you keep...
Trump was on the Jeffrey, and I'm Steve Jeffrey.
No one told me about...
Like, honestly, I think the way to beat it is just take away the intellect. And that might sound weird, but they're banking on you knowing what you're talking about, so then they can be like, "Oh, what are you, some woke lib? What are you, some woke idiot?" Like, honestly, like this, you should be smart and know what you're talking about, but have that be backhand, like have that one in the back, and have the memes in the front. And like, if you take away their ability to even like think about debating you, then they look like an idiot. Then they're just sitting there with their shit, and then you're here with your Guantanamo Gator thing that Robbie Roadstreamer's doing. Then neither of you have anything to talk about, because I mean the Charlie Kirk side has nothing to actually talk about. They're trying to push an ideology. They're the ones. Oh man, now I want some more Wingstop. I just had Wingstop last night. They're the ones actually trying to push an ideology and how you need to think and how you need to feel and what you need to worship and how you need to tie your shoes in the morning in order to have a good life or whatever. They're the ones that are pushing that. The ones that are against it. Why you even debate that? You know what I mean? Like, why even debate that anyways? Like, have the knowledge of how to dismantle their argument, but why? They're gonna double down. They're just gonna call you names for knowing things, like I said, and then they'll like make fun of how you look or something. So instead of that, just have memes ready, or just not even really engage, like the alt-right video said. Like, that's an option. Don't engage, because they're just gonna use it and use you and gaslight you afterwards. Waiting for this autism announcement. It's likely that Disney's bringing back Kimmel on Tuesday. Got him. Disney bringing back Kimmel on Tuesday. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we've reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. Which Tuesday? Tomorrow or next week? Disney stepped in. Disney was feeling those cancellations because they're richer than all these fucks, bro. That's what I'm saying. Mother, like, there's a balance here of like corporations and everything, and obviously the people on the far left, and like even me included, I want them to pay their fair share in taxes. But like, I was waiting for the moment for Disney, being the juggernaut that it is, and the corporations that have more power and money than any of this fucking government does, to step in and be like, yeah, no, Trump, sorry, you're on your weird little fascism thing, whatever. We're Disney, we're global, we have like more money than you can even think of. We're not doing that. And that's what I was waiting for. And I was like, oh, Disney sucks, I guess. Actually, they had like, their content's been dog shit. Like, let's just get that. Like, it's been bad. But I mean, like, they're a juggernaut. And where are you for all the people that stuck with you when the right wing was canceling? Because like woke and gay people, and like the Disney would still hire them and still work with them, and the right wing was mad about it. Where is the article about Disney and Jimmy Kimmel? Jimmy Kimmel Show will return on the air 6 days after being pulled indefinitely. Disney announces. We need to get a post up on this. This just came in a few minutes ago. During the announcement, I'll get one up. I don't know if Mod Nikki's available. Make a post. On Monday, September 22nd, the Walt Disney Company issued a statement confirming that the show will return on Tuesday, September 23rd. Last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive, the statement read. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after all those conversations, we've reached a decision to return the show on Tuesday. On September 15th, the episode broadcast of Kimmel Show saw him discussing the world events in his opening monologue, which eventually shifted to discussing Charlie Kirk, the right-wing commentator who founded Turning Point USA, was fatally shot on September 10th, obviously. Tyler Robinson was charged with aggravating murder in connection with Kirk's death. Well, we hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang, desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. That was what got him canceled. That's what got him canceled. Which, by the way, there's nothing there's been actually reporting that's come out since that I haven't posted because it was the weekend. That there's no connection, no evidence found between Charlie Kirk's shooting and left-wing groups. So all the people that got to come out and say, this was the left that killed Charlie Kirk, the left killed him. And then Jimmy Kimmel goes, well, actually, it was one of yours. And then he got canceled for it. But all the people that came out and said, it was the left. The left did it. And then it went from, oh, white male shooter. Oh, he's one of ours. Aw, the left indoctrinated him. The left took little Tyler and little white conservative boy from the white conservative family, and they ruined him. Literally spent like a semester online school. Didn't even go to school. Wasn't even involved in anything. And then he's been in school at the technical college, where they teach you how to fix things and do fucking blue collar work. But yeah, that's the indoctrination camp somehow. Federal investigation of the assassination of a conservative activist, Charlie Kirk, has yet to find a link between the alleged shooter, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, and left-wing groups on which the President Trump and his administration have pledged to crack down after the killing. One person familiar with the investigation said that thus far there is no evidence connecting with the suspect of any left-wing groups. But he doesn't need to be in the group to have the ideology, MAGA. He doesn't have to be a part of left-wing groups to be a leftist. It's just the aura. It's just the demonic air. And Tyler Robinson was taken by the demonic air. That's the ghost of the left got him. It's the aura. Every indication so far is that this was one guy who did one really bad thing because he found Kirk's ideology personally offensive. Obviously. In addition, two of the people familiar with the probe said it may be difficult to charge Robinson at the federal level for Kirk's killing, while the third source said there is still an expectation that some kind of federal charge is filed against Robinson. I bet you this goes nowhere, actually. I bet you this kind of fades out a little bit, kind of like the assassination attempt on Trump. I think this fades out because a lot of weird things with this one. A lot of weird things. You got Candace Owens. I bet you Candace Owens flips. I'm gonna make a bold prediction. She's still gonna be the worst person ever. But Candace Owens has been a tool of like the far right for like 10 years, and it's looking like she's falling off based upon how this is playing out. And maybe not so. That's what the fringe, like, I don't know if it's further right than whatever, but I have a feeling Candace Owens is going to fall off the right wing and go easily into the far left, which is going to be wild to watch. But she's been very critical of Israel, obviously, She's like loosely trying to, in her conspiracy, she's trying to connect Israel to this shooting, which is interesting. Like, but beyond that, nothing I believe in, but interesting to listen to speak. But I think Candace is gonna. I bet you that happens by the end of the year, or if not, definitely by the end of Trump's presidency. She will fall off and flip. That's my prediction for Candace Owens. But she's all over this case, not trusting anything, and it is what it is. I don't trust any of it either, but for different reasons than Candace. I think the Trump administration did this with Erica Kirk. I think they worked together to kill Charlie Kirk. One, to create a martyr. Two, to get Erica Kirk in the CEO position, so she gets to be the face of it. And obviously, Charlie Kirk was cooking. He was growing something. The Turning Point USA was a youth movement, millions of white nationalist youth, but whatever. Like, he had a big following. He was next. He was actually next, I think. Charlie Kirk was my age, but I think like he was working his way to being like conservative leader of the GOP. And Trump and his tight hold on the government and what he wants, like Charlie Kirk was a tool for that, nothing more. Charlie Kirk couldn't have a position there. Like, he was like anytime Trump would say, we can't talk about the Epstein files anymore, Charlie Kirk would go on a show saying, hey guys, no more Epstein files. Anytime Charlie Kirk would question Israel, he'd get a message. Can't do that. Whoops. Sorry. Let's actually talk to Netanyahu. Let's talk to him. Let's have him on. Anytime like the government, because Charlie Kirk's program was literally just like a puppet or like a tool of the federal government. It wasn't an independent media. It wasn't like Charlie Kirk how he feels. No, it was literally just an arm of the Trump administration through media. Actually, one of the first state media that we've seen. Fox News has been used for that. Plenty of other right-wing media conglomerates have been used for it, but haven't gone full on into it. But Charlie Kirk's platform was that, or is that still? I don't know. They just look no further than having the vice president go on his platform and host it for him, and bring on all the administration officials onto Charlie Kirk's podcast. What are we talking about? Then literally went on and hosted a show. That doesn't happen. That's not normal. The vice president of the United States and all of this, they're supposed to be busy in their government work for our country. Instead, they're being personal handlers of Charlie Kirk and one person, which it's all weird. It's all weird. I really think the Trump administration killed him to create a martyr, to put us in the exact situation we're in now, and then also to prevent him from rising in the right wing, because Trump has a control over it, and Trump will pick who's next. Because when Trump's done, I bet you this is how it goes. And this is my hopium. I don't think Trump will try a third term, because forward facing, that's bad. But what he will do is do what he just did for the past 4 years and go to Mar-a-Lago. This is what I think will happen. He'll go to Mar-a-Lago, and JD Vance or whoever else is the nominee for the GOP will be the placeholder, will be the one that you see as the president, but Trump will be the one behind the scenes running it from Mar-a-Lago. And he'll have leaders come in and just watch, clip this. He'll have leaders come in and they'll talk, and they'll be doing it at Mar-a-Lago. And the White House will just be a shrine of what used to be America at that point, or whatever. Or he'll have events there. But that's how it will go. I don't know if Trump will be like, I'm the third term president. I don't know if he'll do that, because you'll have normies be against that and be like, the Constitution. But yet then Trump will have to go to Mar-a-Lago like he did, because even when Trump wasn't president, while Biden was president, he was telling the GOP what to do, what to say, how to vote while he was at Mar-a-Lago. Stop multiple aid bills from passing. There could have been a great border bill, a great bill for the border when Republicans temporarily cared about the border. They don't care about the border now. Isn't that funny? Remember that? Remember we had an invasion at the border? Oh, but Trump solved it. That's why they don't care, because Trump can come out and say, I solved it. And then now this cult stops caring. And that's how it works. Okay. There's still issues at the border. There's still asylum issues. You still got H-1B visa fraud. Not fraud in terms of the people applying for it, but I think it's fraudulent that major mass companies get to bring in foreign labor over American workers. I think that's wrong. That's those are my two actual real immigration issues, are H-1B visas and corporations bringing in cheap foreign labor over Americans, and the asylum seeking process. not people coming over the border at the south. That's not an issue, actually. Nope, not an issue for me. Not an issue at all. It's the asylum process and the people that are backed up, and then the actual legal process that is done, and corporations using it to their advantage. And that is actually the problem. It will be the Dana White House. Dana White. They're also going to be having a UFC fight outside the White House too, y'all. They're going to be having the, see you on the South Lawn. Obviously AI generated depiction. But that's the idea. Is they are gonna have a UFC fight outside the White House. So, yep. Thanks to these Republicans. Well, China shit, but like Rome, when Rome fell. But it's wild because you got like half the voting, the actual half of the voting population that decided to vote, that wasn't lazy in the 2024 election, that went out and voted. So you got like a country that isn't for this. So you're going to see a fight, I think, eventually. And like, I think that's going to happen in the next 10 years, 10, 15 years, there will be like a fight because over half the country is not with this at all. And it will come to a point at some point that these Nazis aren't going to get what they want, actually. Or they do, and we lose. Like, that's it. I'll take the UFC White House match over this all day long. Wow. Putting up rainbow flags. This is worse to them than having the UFC Fall of Rome cage match outside the White House. Crazy work. South Lawn. More distractions. Yeah, what about the Epstein files? What Epstein files? We're doing a UFC fight. I gotta make a post. I don't think we have any posts up today. Let me see here. Yep, nothing. Let me get Jimmy Kimmel up here. We got 4 minutes until this is supposed to start anyways. 4 minutes until the autism announcement that Trump and RFK are expected to announce that Tylenol is the cause of autism. And any other conspiracy theories that they put up. I don't know why Disney needs to make a statement about the federal government using like below them to stop the broadcast from going out. It's not enough for Disney just to be like, oh, oops, he's back. Like, no, they need to make a statement about free speech for me. Like, no, they need to actually make a stance on this. They can't be third party. They can't pretend they're apolitical right now, especially there's no fucking way. Check into the stream, guys. Where are you guys watching from? You got 3 minutes until this is supposed to start. Let me get this post up. Yep, I'm making the post on right now. We just covered it. If you're coming into the stream telling me Kimmel's back, look how long we've been live and I cover news. You should be here. Be here, don't be elsewhere. That's the other thing too I ask for you guys is start supporting more independent media, not just me and people that have voices on YouTube and whatnot. Do that too. But like, start sharing our work. Stop sharing corporate funded stuff. or people that were once corporate and now they think they're independent, but they're not. They're still getting funded. Okay, to start supporting more independent media. Otherwise, nothing's going to change, or you're going to just keep getting into this corporate loop of corporate will censor your favorite news person because they said something, and then you're like, oh, I wish there was independent media. Let me go tell Mercado. That's my favorite, is when something corporate media reports, and then it's like, Mercado, did you hear about it? I'm like, we've been talking about it for 2 hours. Been here talking about it.
They got everything, Jim. They got everything.
The Disney announced Kimmel's back. Yep. Yep. I already covered it. Make sure you're in the Discord server and you're here when I go live. That's all I can tell y'all. I'm telling you for years. Notification bell turned on. We're going to have people come in for the next half hour telling us, did you hear about Jimmy Kimmel? Did you hear about Jimmy Kimmel? Did you hear about Jimmy Kimmel? Like, brother, we are a news platform. I'll make that same post on the YouTube channel. I'm 39. You don't. I'm 32. You're 7 years older than me. Discord's the best way to get it out. There's no other way, because I can't rely on the platforms. Can't rely on just Facebook and YouTube. That doesn't work. If you want to figure out how to use it, you will. Autism breakthrough. Trump and RFK Jr. come out and announce they have autism. Nazis aren't going to get what they want. So we're waiting for Trump or whoever is going to come out and announce this autism thing. They're going to ban Tylenol and bring back opioids. They're going to put cocaine back in the Coke. That'll fix it. It's going to be, no, it will be Tylenol. That's like, just prepare for that. They're going to blame Tylenol and pregnant mothers using Tylenol as the cause of autism. So more just blaming women. It's like, just like through different hoops of just shitting on women. Yeah, it's these pregnant mothers. They're the ones that are causing this autism. Yep. Part of the alt-right playbook. I think, well, it's mostly Tylenol, but that'll be acetaminophen is what they're going to focus on. It'll be acetaminophen. Okay, my bad. Acetaminophen will be the focus. I just say Tylenol because that's just my brand, I guess. But yeah, it's they're going to blame acetaminophen as the cause of autism, and then I don't know if they're going to say it's a disease Likely, they've said that in the past. And a whole bunch of other nonsense. Did you research that, Merc? Yep, I have. Yep, I actually have. I trust the science and the people that spend all day doing this than two crackpot politicians, one being a fascist, the other one literally being a crackpot that only fringe people on the left liked in the day, back in the day, who were really just people, they're really just right-wingers that were confused. Anyone that likes fucking RFK Jr. Probably just like confused right-wing liberals that didn't know what they were believing back in the day. Is there no way you could be like on the left and think RFK Jr. is based in any way? It's funny, like a lot of those like anti-vax people and shit like ended up coming out right-wing after COVID, but they were literally just right-wing the whole time. They'll never admit advanced paternal age is a huge factor. They'll do anything to take the blame from men. They love dudes. The grinder went down in Arizona. Yeah, in Arizona during the Charlie Kirk Nazi rally. The website Grinder was overloaded. People track that during conservative meetups and gatherings about, because like it's a meme, because obviously like outwardly they shit on the LGBTQ plus community all day long, but yet they are absolutely the most zesty. Like it's weird. They're weird. LGBTQ plus people are normal. They just like what they like. It's the ones that shit on them all day long and then secretly behind closed doors are all about it. That's weird. You said let's cure autism. Yep, that's ironically, that's such an ironic statement. Something that you would hear in a video game by a meme character. Let's cure autism. Yeah. Their cure is not going to be good, though. That's what I'm saying. There's no cure for it. So I'm worried that if they continue down this road, there needs to be like major scientific communities coming out and speaking after this. And medical research communities and all that need to like come out. And if they don't, then we're fucked. Like Disney needs to make a statement that isn't like, oh, we fired Jimmy Kimmel because of his statements were so mean. And we found that they're not. Like, no. We need as much as you don't like it, you need your corporations and your major things to stand against this. And if they don't, then we're fucked, actually. Because we can do all we can, but unless you actually have the corporation standing against it, then we're screwed. If they capitulate to it, then, oh boy, buckle up. Which we already kind of saw ABC and Disney do for Jimmy Kimmel on the free speech. But for like, we need medical institutions and scientific institutions to come out and speak against whatever the fuck they're going to say today. And if they don't, it's very dangerous. Many of them are self-hating deeply. Yeah, that's what it is. They like what they like, and they hate themselves for it, and they got to do it secretly because they can't just be comfortable in their own skin, because that would make them that would make them a woke lib, I guess, right? That would make them their enemy, I guess. Best outcome, Trump comes out and says he's autistic and the whole thing was a big stim. That actually is the best case scenario. We've discovered the autism. It's actually our government. Our bad. That would be the best outcome. Immigrants will be the cause of autism. Biden caused the autism. He did it. Obama helped, but then Biden really came out and did it. And then Gavin Newsom could have stopped the autism, but the spigot was still on. So if Gavin Newsom if Gavin Newsom would have turned the faucets on, then autism would have been stopped, but he didn't. So Trump turned them on. Or Trump turned more of them on. Isn't the best outcome they come out and the brainworm forces RFK Jr. to grab Trump by the face and French him? Whoa. I mean, I don't know. If you're MAGA, maybe you'd like to see that based upon the number of Grindr accounts, but yeah, I'd be okay with not seeing that. I could go my whole life without that. That'd kind of be rough. You said, so glad. I don't know if it's tomorrow or next week. Jimmy Kimmel is back. Waiting for this autism announcement, y'all. Whole bunch of nonsense. Oh, they're back. I'm like, what's Rapture? There's a Rapture tomorrow now? I still think a part of me still thinks that the MAGA is a death cult. And I'm like really worried. Like I have visions, y'all. Like I'm like, That's So Raven. From the show That's So Raven. And I had a weird vision that MAGA is like a death cult and like they're gonna start, offing themselves in the name of Jesus or something, or Trump. And like try to gaslight the rest of us to do that. Nothing on fact there. Completely like a vision I had. Talking about like, oh, the end is coming and shit, and like Jesus is coming, and like we gotta end it before it happens. Trump said Jesus told him. Like, what else is their outcome? They gotta put their rage into something. And if it's not outwardly, then what else is there to do? Any takers on the cause of autism is Kraft macaroni and cheese? No, that's just a result of it. No, if you get autism, you like Kraft macaroni and cheese usually. Shit's gas. Apparently, I guess Rapture tomorrow. When is this starting? I have softball, so Rapture tomorrow. How is the world going to end tomorrow? Oh, God. You know how many raptures I've lived through? We had 2012 was supposed to be a rapture. They had another one a couple years later. End of the world. Another pastor predicted it. A pastor's prediction, the rapture will occur tomorrow. It sparked a flurry of TikTok fear. Oh, my God. No wonder. Came from TikTok. That's why. I don't watch that. I don't scroll on TikTok. I spend 0 hours on TikTok. Literally none. Let me pull up my app usage so I can show you guys. I literally do not use that app. Honestly, it was apps like TikTok, which was Vine in the past, that helped get me into the right wing. Because it's quick bullshit content that gets to you right away and people literally like believe it. That's what Vine did that for me. You can only imagine TikTok's worse. Where's my app usage? My apps. I don't even know where to find. I know it exists because I've looked at it before. Device monitor. Whatever. TikTok is not even. I would literally have to say 0 or like maybe a couple minutes to when I get a notification that somebody I don't talk to anymore is on TikTok like they do. There's something about TikTok to where I get notifications of people that I talked to in the past and now I don't. And like they tell me, hey, this person's on TikTok. I don't. Good. Let them. Hey, did you know this person that you talk to and don't talk to now is on TikTok? The only thing I get from that app is those notifications. Nothing else. App is not good. You guys can like what you like, though. They hear from someone that went down the right-wing rabbit hole. That type of content is never good. A viral video circulating on social media claims a rapture, a Christian belief relating to the end times, will take place this week. Joshua, a South African preacher. Okay. Never mind. I mean, yeah. Really?
The rapture is upon us. Whether you are ready or not. Today, what people will hear is God revealing his plan.
To his people.
To the people of the world.
Yeah.
God took me to see the future and then he brought me back. And then in heaven, in a throne room, I see Jesus sitting on his throne. And I could hear him very loud and clear. I am coming soon.
He's coming. He's coming soon. I mean, got to give it to the Christians, boy. They've been predicting Jesus is coming for a long time. Every time you have a conversation with like someone that's hardcore into that shit, they're like, the end times are coming. Jesus is coming soon. Well, we've been waiting for him to come for a long time. When is he going to do it? That would be great, actually. That would be useful right now. But this is wild. The Billy Graham Evangelistic Association says the rapture will come in 2 phases. The ascension to meet Jesus in the clouds, and then the reign of Jesus on earth for 1,000 years. Can he start now? When does that begin? When does that part begin? I'm gonna go meet him in the clouds. I'm trying to go meet Jesus in the clouds for a second before this autism announcement. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go hit this joint really quick before we hear this nonsense. They keep delaying it though. I don't know if they keep coming out with new conspiracies while we're sitting here. The crapture. Why is it tomorrow? The dates of September 23rd, 2025. Or the 24th has marked the rapture to coincide with Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish feast of trumpets, which many Christians associate with the fulfillment of what? What? It's always connected to Judaism somehow. Bunch of fucking. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of all this.
Rosh Hashanah literally means head of the year, the new year. But biblically, it's much more than that. In the book of Leviticus,
go hump a wall.
It's called Yom Teruah, the day of the blowing of trumpets or ram's horn, the judgment day.
The only commandment during
It's got to be the worst horn I've ever heard.
Rosh Hashanah is actually to hear the sound of the shofar.
And so everybody gathering in the synagogue to hear the sound of the shofar. It's something that people connect to their soul, to hear the sound of the shofar.
If that's the sound that hears before the rapture comes, then we deserve it, honestly. Like if that's the sound you hear before rapture begins, then that's just how it's supposed to happen. Holy fuck, what is that?
The piercing sound of the shofar is meant to remind the hearers to repent of their sins and to make things right with their brothers and sisters. The rabbis say that reconciliation with God and man confounds the enemy.
A shofar is a musical instrument made from a horn. This is the oldest musical instrument. And the Jewish Orthodox we have a committee to hear the sound of the shofar.
There's got to be a better sounding shofar than that. What about these big ones? Do they sound better than that one?
Our Judgment Day.
As part of a two-family business, Eli Ribach is a third-generation shofar maker.
The process is
okay, I don't care how to polish it and grind it and stroke it. Like, we don't need that part.
It's actually all type of horns are kosher except of a cow.
That's because the Jewish people don't want to remind God of the time Israel worshipped the golden calf in the wilderness.
So fucking over it. I'm so over it, dude. Go worship a golden calf in the wilderness and then bring it as, oh my, I'm just so tired of it. And then you got crackpot Christians that will go, this means this is why Netanyahu and the leadership in Israel like own Christians that are like right wing, because they believe the end of the world is going through like Judaism traditions, and like it goes through their religion. Like Christians are out here and they matter, but the real one is Judaism, and that's the one that decides. And so it's I'm just so tired of it, all of it. People that can't figure out life here on Earth, and like I get it, and you have their freedom to believe what you want, but it's when you bring it into my world of, I don't want that in my world. I don't want that. I don't want any of that shit around. People can't figure out their life, and like they got to turn to. I'm not trying to shit on religious people at all, like in general, but like these crackpots really make it hard. Really make it difficult sometimes, because honestly, a lot of that is what's running this administration and what we're seeing in the Middle East and what we're seeing happen to Gaza. And they use all of that to justify their actions. So it makes it really difficult. We saw the golden calf. We can't remind God when we worshiped a golden calf in the forest. The same, never mind. The same forest in Utah. Still looking for the woods. Haven't been able to find the woods in Utah yet, guys. Still trying to find them. Okay, well, the announcement was supposed to happen 20 minutes ago. We're still waiting for that. We're still waiting for the anything. Too late. Trump called Jerome Powell too late, but Trump's late for literally everything. Literally everything. Proof Xing Zhangken has a channel here on YouTube where he explains some of these apocalyptic geopolitics in the Middle East. Oh, that'd be interesting content. That would be they're still studying autism. Autism 2. We've unveiled a new autism. Autism 2. It's a new form. It's when you're liberal. Woke is woke will for now for hereforth be referenced as autism. If you go left leaning, you go to the autism. I'm just trying to think of what they're gonna say. Autism 19. We're waiting for it, though. We won't be stopped. See you soon, Minnesota. They're all going to wear that. I am Charlie Kirk now. Wear your cross, too. Your gold cross. With etchings and shit on it. They have the Turning Point USA event at the U of M still happening. I think it was wasn't it supposed to happen already? Turning Point USA, the group founded by Charlie Kirk, is still holding a previously scheduled event. Oh, it's today. Oh, it's at 6:30 p.m. at Northrop Hall. It's a sold-out event, apparently. There's also a vigil at the Minnesota State Capitol. All the people that are scared of the cities are coming in. They pretend to be scared of the cities. Kirk was kicking off the American Comeback Tour. Was this weird too, by the way? Oh, are they starting now? Never mind. Are we starting? Autism didn't exist when I grew up. Now look at my meticulous train set and mini spoon collection. Mind the plastic on the sofa. They're going to defeat autism at the UFC fight. Trump ended 9 wars, including autism. Oh boy. I'm really going to hit this joint, though. As soon as I start speaking, I'm stepping outside and sparking this because nothing is going to get us through this. If you're sober, shout out. Stay sober. Sober people W. Or if you're at work. But I'm not getting through this without something here. Any other predictions? What you guys think? Really quiet. Really quiet room. Heard a cough. Work squad. Work squad. Sober till 5:05 when you get off. Nice. 420 friendly news stream. We won't be live all afternoon, though, you guys. We're going to have to end it a little bit after. I got to leave for the fields by like 4:30. We're also going to stand too here. Goodbye, chair. Stand if you got it. Put this up here. I have to adjust my camera or something. Honestly, this is probably going to tick off the next phase in brown shirt terror. Maybe. We'll see if we'll probably wrap it up into his culture war talking points. The Democrats are melting down by calling Stephen M a Nazi, not realizing he's Jewish. This is the same thing as saying I'm not racist. I have a black friend. And no, same type of people had no problem who called Zelensky Nazi and running a Nazi military. Didn't do that for Zelensky though. Weird. Russia owns them, that's why. Russia's the one bankrolling all of this, and Netanyahu. But you can't, if you're like focus, if your sole focus is on Israel, that's fine. But Russia is the one also bankrolling it. All of this, everything that's happening, but that's bad. And the MAGA rhetoric and their media is funded by the Russians and Netanyahu, but the Russians. Yeah, they called Zelensky a dictator, but they also called him a Nazi because the Russians say that the Ukrainians are Nazi military. And that they're trying to destroy Nazism in Ukraine. But they didn't apply that same, oh, well, Zelensky's Jewish, so how could he be a Nazi? They didn't, these types of right-wing losers never applied that to Zelensky. They apply it to actual Nazis, like Stephen Miller. Looks perma-fried. All waiting for this autism announcement. I really hope Trump just comes out and says, I got autism. That's the announcement. Take care. Well, we're 31 minutes late. So I don't feel bad when I'm late, y'all. The President of the United States doesn't give a fuck. Don't care about time. Time is just a conflux. Except for when you're at work. And you better be there at the time, and you better stay there till you leave. That's when time matters. Better be there on time. Me 15 minutes late to when I was supposed to be there in traffic. On my way. McCudley, thank you for becoming a supporter. Dang, from division agent to supporter of Mercado Media in a 12-hour time period. Not even. Less than 12 hours. We were playing the Division last night because it's ironic. You haven't played the Division. Oh, it's just a game that takes place in the United States that experienced a pandemic, and everyone became factioned, and there's like chaos and war in the streets, and America is like crumbling. Nothing that we, just something that's out there. Completely otherworldly scenario. Don't know what that's like. So we play the Division so we can see. Oh boy. Is this the autism announcement? That would be amazing. And then end it after this. That would be perfect. The autism announcement is how many people can handle sitting and waiting, and if you can't, then you're done. We're going to the gulag after this.
Yes.
The autism was waiting until this happened and doing nothing beforehand so we don't miss it. Now that it's happening, there better be something that happens now. Release the Epstein files, for fuck's sake. You think they're going to announce that? Kevin Eller, thank you for becoming a supporter of the channel. Really quick announcement, just in case you did miss it, though, before this, Jimmy Kimmel has been reinstated. Or his show is coming back. Some type of good news today, but it still seems cucked by Disney. Disney announces Jimmy Kimmel Live will return September 23rd, so tomorrow. He'll have his most watched show in years. Jimmy Kimmel Live is returning to ABC less than a week after it was announced that it had suspended indefinitely due to comments the late night show made about Charlie Kirk's murder. Last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense week. People are... that sucks. I bet you people still won't return their Disney membership, though. Their content has been trash anyways. People that are, like, been holding on to Disney because they stand up for... or, like, we think they stand up for marginalized people. Hell no. Their content's been dog shit anyways. Like, Andor has been the only good show recently. Everything else they're doing has been ass. Their Marvel movies, dog shit. Star Wars movies, dog shit. Their independent movies, all ass or shows, except for Andor. In my opinion. Mandalorian was good, now it sucks. Or it did suck at the end. Or if, like, the couple of the shows that were good at first and then they ended up being bad. Like The Mandalorian. They have good, they're good. Their National Geographic stuff they have on there is all fine, good. You can get that on YouTube. You don't need to pay a subscription fee to watch nature. You can watch YouTube. And they do the same thing. I didn't like Ahsoka. Nah. I didn't like that was a personal choice. I was just a fan of that one. People like that one though. I recognize that. Yeah, we'll always have Disney's older shit. Well, you'll always have that. Unless it truly gets taken away. And Mandalorian was good at first. In my opinion, it went bad. First couple of seasons were gas. Fell off. Could have been great. Are they doing a movie? One I think people would be probably struggling with more would be the Hulu one because people use that for their TV shows. I think less people will be inclined to bring back, especially if that's their statement. It's like, yeah, they're bringing him back, but like this clearly shows they capitulated then. To avoid flaming a tense situation, more like we gave in. There was no tense situation. He didn't inflame anything. He made the people that cry about him cry harder. That's all it was. The people that already hate Jimmy Kimmel were louder about it. And that's all it was. And then Disney is bent the knee. There's no reason to like give back to Disney for this, or like be like, oh, okay, Disney did the right. Like, are they doing the right thing here? In the end, yes, but like to show there's a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed, and thus insensitive. And you didn't even make the decision. You were cucked to the decision after the Trump administration announced that that's what was happening. You guys didn't make this decision on your own. What are you talking about? So yeah, while it's good he's back, there's no reason to give Disney any type of credit for this. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. Jimmy Kimmel's 57? Oh, damn. He does not seem 57 years old. I thought Jimmy Kimmel's in his, like, 40s. He's almost 60. Well, I tell when I'm there's like our generations when we're old, we're not gonna like look what we think is 57. I think. I don't know if it's like the healthcare we have now compared to the old times, older days, skincare routines people do. I think Jimmy Kimmel was almost fucking 60 years old. Doesn't look anywhere near 60, at least in my what I think of when I'm thinking a little older. And it's not that like it don't look bad. Like the older generations don't look bad because they're old. It's just they look like they're experienced. They look like they've been out here doing shit. Not saying that Jimmy hasn't, but like people that are older usually look weathered because of the life they went through and made it to that age. You get wrinkles and everything. It is what it is. It's just part of life. I think because of like the skincare and shit, and you can take care of yourself a little easier than older generations had it. They were in the factories 15 hours a day. 60 isn't old anymore. Apparently not. That's fine for me. That's all good news for me. That way when I'm 60, I won't be old. Sunblock, sunscreen. This is what we're waiting for. Are they coming back too? Who? Trump and they supposedly are. The Supreme Court on Monday cleared the way for President Trump to fire the sole remaining Democrat in the Federal Trade Commission. 2-minute warning? Finally. I said 2-minute warning, so we need like the Fox News. Hold on, I need this. Can I get this on a sound? I'm adding this to my soundboard, like tonight. There you go. We have a special autism announcement. Special breaking news autism announcement. You're about to nap? Literally, it's like we're waiting for the Canelo fight again. Holy shit. Anyone try watching that one? Holy, was that fight. Well, I fell asleep 3-4 times during the Canelo fight. And literally. And then when the fight was happening, I was like, it's a fight. The fight wasn't bad actually, though. I liked it. A lot of people did not like the fight itself, but I liked it. I liked that they went the distance and Bud gave him a hell of a fight. Wasn't the best fight ever, though. I'm not gonna say it was like the best fight I've ever seen, but I don't think it was a bad fight itself. But waiting to get to that point, though, holy. What up, DJ Alrad? Good to see you back again. The Saxon Nazi symbol on the right side of the announcement meme. We're waiting for our special news bulletin. Watching the game tonight? Nope. I'll be gaming tonight. Come on, y'all. There's the division. Come on, you guys. You guys already know what time it is when I get home. Oh, it comes out in 2 days? Oh, wait, do I get it early? I think I get it early. 7 hours from now? Never mind. We can't play this tonight. We gotta play it tomorrow night. Heck. Damn it. Someone in chat got me excited for that this game came out today. I guess we're playing it tomorrow. So probably the Division again. No, yeah, we're playing Arc Raiders. We're playing Battlefield. It's spooky season though, so any single player games I play will be like a horror game. Damn it, I was excited. I thought this game was coming out tonight. Even if I pre-purchased it. Oh, it does. No, 7. So at 11, I could play it late tonight. It comes out tonight. I would need enough of you guys to stay awake for tonight to watch. That would be perfect for when I come home from softball. You got the standard one? Yeah, that comes out and that one comes out. The standard edition comes out on the 24th, I think, so in 2 days. Game's gonna. That's a scary game. It's a scary game. I'm not gonna way around it if it's a horror game. The scariest game we're gonna play won't be until February though. I was scared watching the gameplay of this one. But they don't even have it on Steam yet. The scariest game that's gonna come out will be Resident Evil 9. That's gonna be the scariest game that of recent time. Like this looks. I was watching gameplay of this shit, and I'm like, it's gonna be terrifying. You gotta hide from this massive monster in this part, and it's just so fucking. And then a giant monster right behind it, and you gotta run from that thing. And this thing, like in Resident Evil games, some of them, like the good ones, have like a boss that you can't defeat. Like Resident Evil 2 had Mr. X that followed you around. Resident Evil 3 had Nemesis that followed you around. Resident Evil 8 had the big lady, but she wasn't that scary. It was more like, ooh, come closer. But this one has this monster that you're in the dark and is literally just chasing you or like hunting you while you're trying to complete tasks. And I'm like gonna be scared. I'm gonna be scared. Okay, finally. Holy blue tide today. Sorry, we're only 46 minutes late. Never mind. They can move their graphs now. Wow, the graphs were hidden. Oh. Nope, they don't want the graph shown. Nope, now show the graphs. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Oh my God. All right, smoke time.
So I've been waiting for this meeting for 20 years, actually. And it's not that everything's 100% understood or known, but I think we've made a lot of strides. Wish it was done a long time ago. Today, we're delighted to be joined by America's top medical and public health professionals as we announce historic steps to confront the crisis of autism. Horrible, horrible crisis. I want to thank the man who brought this issue to the forefront of American politics along with me. And we actually met in my office, is it like 20 years ago, Bobby? It's probably 20 years ago in New York. I was a developer, as you probably heard, and I always had very strong feelings about autism and how it happened and where it came from. And he and I don't know, the word got out, and I wouldn't say that people were very understanding of where we were, but it's turning out that we understood a lot more than a lot of people who studied it, we think. And I say we think because I don't think they were really letting the public know what they knew. Thanks as well to the director of the National Institute of Health, Dr.
We know more than doctors.
FDA Commissioner, Dr.
Trump and RFK Jr.
These are great people. Administrator of the Centers for Medicine and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz, and Acting Assistant Secretary of HHS, Dr. Dorothy Fink. So thank you all. Thank you, Dorothy, very much.
Thanks, Dorothy.
The meteoric rise in autism is among the most alarming public health developments in history. There's never been anything like this.
Really?
Just a few decades ago, 1 in 10,000 children had autism. So that's not a long time. And I've always heard, you know, they say a few, but I think it's a lot less time than that.
What?
It used to be 1 in 20,000, then 1 in 10,000, and I would say that's probably 18 years ago. And now it's 1 in 31, but in some areas it's much worse than that, if you can believe it, 1 in 31. And I gave numbers yesterday. For boys, it's 1 in 12. I was told that's in California, where they have for some reason, a more severe problem. But whether it's
in
1
California,
in 12 or 1 in 31,
Newsom, I called it.
It's down from 1 in 20,000, then 1 in 10,000.
They do autism more in California.
At the level of 1 in 12 in some cases for boys. 1 in 31 overall. So since 2000, autism rates have surged by much more than 400%.
Really?
Instead of attacking those who ask questions, everyone should be grateful for those who are trying to get the answers to this complex situation. And the first day all of these great doctors behind me were there, I told them, this is what we have to find out. Because when you go from 20,000 to 10,000, and then you go to 12, you know there's something artificial. They're taking something. And by the way,
who's
I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism.
Really?
That have no autism.
Right.
Does that tell you something? That's currently. Is that a correct statement, by the way?
There are some studies that suggest that, yeah, with the Amish, for example.
The Amish?
Yeah, virtually. I heard none. See, Bobby wants to be very careful with what he says, and he should, but I'm not so careful with what I say.
We know.
You have certain groups. The Amish, as an example, they have essentially no autism.
Just guessing. Just saying shit.
First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of well, let's see how we say that.
Yeah.
Acetaminophen. Acetaminophen.
You don't even know how to say acetaminophen?
Okay. Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol.
Wow.
During pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol
gives autism.
Is
Tylenol
not
is
good.
Yeah.
All right, I'll say it. It
gives you the tism.
For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary. That's, for instance, in cases of extremely high fever, that you feel you can't tough it out, you can't do it. I guess there's that. It's a small number of cases, I think. But
I messaged my mom. I don't care.
If you can't do it.
My mom's a nurse.
That's what you're going to have to do. You'll take a Tylenol, but very sparingly.
Autism, Tylenol gives autism.
Something that's very dangerous to the woman's health. In other words, a fever that's very, very dangerous, and ideally a doctor's decision, because I think you shouldn't take it. And you shouldn't take it during the entire pregnancy. They may tell you that toward the end of the pregnancy, you shouldn't take it during the entire. And you shouldn't give the child the Tylenol every time he's born and he goes and has a shot. You shouldn't give a Tylenol to that child. All pregnant women should talk to their doctors for more information about limiting the use of this medication while pregnant. So ideally, you don't take it at all. But if you can't tough it out, or if there's a problem, you're going to end up doing it. The other thing that I can tell you that I'll say that they will maybe say at a little bit later date, but I think when you go for the shot, you do it over a 5-time period. Take it over 5 times or 4 times, but you take it in smaller doses and you spread it out over a period of years. And they pump so much stuff into those beautiful little babies. It's a disgrace. I don't see it. I think it's very bad. They're pumping, it looks like they're pumping into a horse.
Right.
You have a little fragile child. And
it's a horse.
A vat of 80 different vaccines, I guess. 80 different blends, and they pump it in.
They pump it in like a horse.
A woman won't take Tylenol. And on the vaccines, it would be good instead of one visit where they pump the baby, load it up with stuff, you'll do it over a period of 4 times or 5 times. I've been so into this issue for so many years just because I couldn't understand how a thing like this could happen. And it's artificially induced. It's not like something that when you go from all of those, healthy babies to a point where I don't even know structurally if a country can afford it. And that's the least of the problems.
What?
To have families destroyed over this is just so terrible. I also, and we've already done this, we want no mercury in the vaccine. We want no aluminum in the vaccine.
Okay.
The MMR,
Which
I think
vaccine?
should be taken separately. This is based on what I feel the mumps, measles, and all the 3 should be taken separately. And it seems to be that when you mix them, there could be a problem. So there's no downside in taking them separately. In fact, they think it's better, so let it be separate. The chicken pox is already separate because when that got mixed in, I guess they made it 4 for a while, it really was bad. So they make chicken pox. Individually, they're okay. When you mix them, something maybe happens. So there's no downside in doing it. It's not like, if you do it, bad things. No, it's only good side. And it may not have that much of an impact, but it may have a big impact. So let those be taken separately. And then hepatitis B is sexually transmitted. There's no reason to give a baby that's almost just born hepatitis B.
Wow.
So I would say
incredible.
Wait till the baby is 12 years old.
Holy.
And take hepatitis B.
Oh.
And I think if you do those things, it's going to be a whole different, it's going to be a revolution in a positive sense in the country. The FDA will be updating the label of an existing drug to reflect potential benefits in reducing some autism symptoms. This gives hope to the many parents with autistic children that
this press conference gave me autism.
Their lives. That's one of the things that I'm very, very happy about. I mean, this was mostly going to be on how not to have the child affected, but we've learned some pretty good things about certain elements of genius that can be given to a baby, and the baby can get better, and in some cases maybe substantially better. Not going to be easy, but be a lot easier if it didn't happen in the first place, as these great parents fully understand, right?
Right.
They fully understand. I feel so terribly I have so many friends with autistic children. It's a tough situation.
Is it?
Finally, to help reach the ultimate goal of ending the autism fever, the NIH will be announcing 13 major grant awards from the Autism Data Science Initiatives. And to be honest with you, to me, that's the least important. It's not even a money thing at this point. There's so much money, but they have to do, and they have to move quickly. When the alternative is that nothing bad can happen, let's do it now. I was just saying to Bobby and the group, let's do it now. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. But with Tylenol, don't take it. Don't take it. And if you can't live, if your fever is
don't
so
take
bad, you have
Tylenol.
to take one, because there's no alternative to that. Sadly, first question, what can you take instead? It's actually, there's not an alternative to that. And as you know, other of the medicines are absolutely proven bad. I mean, they've been proven bad with the aspirins and the...
Don't take anything. Suffer.
Right? And they've been proven bad. So I'd like to ask
you will be
Bobby
in
to
pain.
get up to the podium and say a few words, and then Dr. Bhattacharya and Dr. McCary, Dr. Oz.
This
Dr.
is so
Fink,
bad.
followed
Dr.
by two
Oz.
incredible mothers that
Dr. Oz.
experienced firsthand what this country is going through, what parts of the world are going through. And I will say there are parts of the world that don't take Tylenol. I mean, there's a rumor, and I don't know if it's so or not, that Cuba, they don't have Tylenol because they don't have the money for Tylenol, and they have virtually no autism, okay? Tell me about that one. And there are other parts of the world where they don't have Tylenol, where they don't have autism.
What?
That tells you a lot.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I want to say it right
Profound.
now. Profound. You know, the way I look at it, don't take it. Don't take it.
I can't believe this is our reality.
Not taking it.
I can't believe this is our reality.
So I'd like to ask Bobby to come up and say a few words. I hope I didn't ruin his day, but That's the way I feel. I've been very strong on the subject.
They don't have Tylenol in Cuba, so Cuba doesn't have autism.
And there's a lot of common sense in this. And
yeah, for
I
sure.
wish things
sounds
like
like
this
it
were
sounds
brought
like
up.
it.
And this group has worked so hard on it, but I'd like to be a little bit more, a little speedier in the process of a recommendation, because there's no harm in going quicker. There's absolutely no harm. At worst, there's no harm. Thank you very much, Bobby. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. To meet the president's challenge, I ordered HHS to launch an unprecedented all-agency effort to identify all causes of autism.
Have fun with this one.
Including toxic and pharmaceutical exposures. At President Trump's urging, NIH, FDA, CDC, and CMS are turning over every stone to identify the etiology of the autism epidemic and how patients and parents can prevent and reverse this alarming trend. We have broken down the traditional silos that have long separated these agencies, and we have fast-tracked research and guidance. Historically, NIH has focused almost solely on politically safe and entirely fruitless research about the genetic drivers of autism. And that would be like studying the genetic drivers of lung cancer without looking at cigarettes. And that's what NIH has been doing for 20 years. As a result, we don't have an answer to this critical question, despite the cataclysmic impact of the epidemic on our nation's children. We are now replacing the institutional culture of politicized science and corruption with evidence-based medicine.
Really?
NIH research teams are currently testing multiple hypotheses with no area off limits. We promise transparency as we uncover the potential causes and treatments, and we will notify the public regularly of our progress. Today, we are announcing two important findings from our autism work that are vital for parents to know as they make these decisions.
I'll put the captions on.
First, HHS will act on acetaminophen. The FDA is responding to clinical and laboratory studies that suggest a potential association between acetaminophen used during pregnancy and adverse neurodevelopmental outcomes, including later diagnosis for ADHD and autism.
Really?
Scientists have proposed biological mechanisms linking prenatal acetaminophen exposure to altered brain development. We have also evaluated the contrary studies that show no association. Today, the FDA will issue a physician's notice about the risk of acetaminophen during pregnancy and begin the process to initiate a safety label change. HHS will launch a nationwide public service campaign to inform families and protect public health. FDA also recognized that acetaminophen is often the only tool for fevers and pain in pregnancy, as other alternatives have well-documented adverse effects. HHS wants, therefore, to encourage clinicians to exercise their best judgment in the use of acetaminophen for fevers and pain in pregnancy by prescribing the lowest effective dose for the shortest necessary duration and only when treatment is required. Furthermore, thanks to the politicization of science, the safety of acetaminophen against the risk of neurodevelopmental disorders in young children has never been validated. Medicine, therefore, suggests caution in acetaminophen use by young children, especially since strong evidence also has associated it with liver toxicity. Some studies have also found the use of acetaminophen in children can potentially prolong viral illnesses. FDA will drive new research to safeguard mothers, children, and families. In addition to a possible acetaminophen connection to autism for pregnant women, infants, and toddlers, our research has revealed that folate deficiency in a child's brain can lead to autism. We have also identified an exciting therapy that may benefit large numbers of children who suffer
folate deficiency.
Peer-reviewed literature has documented that up to 60% of folate-deficient children with ASD can have improved verbal communications if given leucovorin. I have instructed NIH, FDA, and CMS to help doctors treat.
It's above my pay grade.
Jay will help tell that story which started with sound science, the kind that restores faith in government.
Really?
This announcement also represents a historic collaboration between NIH, FDA, CDC, and CMS. We expect this to be the first of many announcements over the coming years that deliver actionable information to parents on underlying cause of autism and the potential paths for prevention and reversal. Finally, autism is a complex disorder with multifactorial etiology. We are continuing to investigate a multiplicity of potential causes with no areas of taboo.
It's an ideology.
We're closely examining, as the president mentioned, is vaccines. Some 40 to 70% of mothers who have children with autism believe that their child was injured by a vaccine. President Trump believes that we should be listening to these mothers instead of gaslighting and marginalize them.
Yeah, let's validate their
Some of
oh
our
my
friends
God.
like to say that we should believe all women.
Oh, wow.
But some of these same people have been silencing and demonizing these mothers for 3 decades.
Wow, bro.
Because research on the potential link between autism and vaccines
Oh my God.
has been actively suppressed in the past.
Jesus
It will take
Christ.
time for an honest look at this topic by scientists. But I want to reassure the people in the autism community that we will be uncompromising and relentless in our search for answers. We will perform the studies that should have been performed 25 years ago.
Right.
Whatever the answer is, we will tell you what we find.
Right.
We are researching this issue to all 3 agencies.
Just like the Epstein files.
One of our research initiatives at NIH.
How's that going?
This model of unleashing unbiased, depoliticized, gold standard scientific research and academic freedom to deliver actionable information to prevent and reverse disease will be a model for the framework to deliver similar results for many other chronic conditions that plague Americans. Jay?
Wow.
Thank you, Secretary Kennedy. And thank you, President Trump.
Thank you very much.
Some 30 to 40% of mothers believe this bullshit. Let's validate them.
To turbocharge autism research, devoting an additional $50 million to the cause of studying autism. Nearly 250 research teams from across the country applied, sent in their applications, and were peer-reviewed by the NIH review panels. The NIH peer reviewers chose the 13 best projects focused on root causes and therapies, with replication and validation studies to guarantee gold standard science. The studies feature a new kind of science called exposomics, where scientists consider environmental and medical factors, nutrition, events during pregnancy, in combination with biology and genetics to answer vital questions about autism. Science like this, conducted in partnership with families and physicians, is the best way to arrest and reverse the autism epidemic. Really? Autism spectrum disorder encompasses a very wide range of symptoms, ranging from mild difficulties with social interactions to profoundly autistic children who experience severe disabilities in speech and behavior. Given this wide range of symptoms across the spectrum, it seems certain that there will be a wide range of biological contributors to explaining the cause. The great thing about the new NIH initiative on autism is that scientists will use rigorous advanced methods in causal inference, machine learning, organoids, and other fresh approaches to the problem. The sharp rise in the prevalence of autism deserves an urgent response by the scientific community. As Bobby said, the NIH has invested a lot of money to study autism over the years, but the research has not produced the answers that families and parents of autistic children deserve, and autistic children themselves deserve.
I mean, like MAGA Nazis.
Taboo to ask some
Why is my children not perfect?
Might reveal a politically incorrect answer.
The left did it. The left made my kid like this. That's really what it is. I'll cut through the bullshit for you.
Often pointing families to behavioral therapies that don't work for every kid, or suggest non-modifiable genetic factors as the cause. But genetics alone can't explain such a sharp rise in autism prevalence over just a few decades, as the president said. In coming months and years, as NIH scientists learn more that can help autistic children and their families, we won't delay. Like scientists often like to do, I can say as a scientist myself, it's really tempting to delay, but but in a in face of a problem like this, you have to move fast.
Right.
But we will not delay before telling American people about what we find, and we will win the public trust with transparency and rigor.
Right, like you have been. That's been going so well.
On autism research.
That's been going so well.
Items that will help families prevent and treat some cases of autism. I'll leave the good news on these two items to my close friends and colleagues, Dr. McCary and Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz.
We've been working together closely on this problem for the past 6 months, and our cooperation represents an unprecedented collaboration with Secretary Kennedy's Department of Health and Human Services and with President Trump. I'm delighted to introduce Dr. Marty McCary, Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration, who will tell you about these announcements of practical help for families with autism.
Right. Here we go. Here's the cure for autism.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya. Mr. President, this is the start of a historic shift in medical culture. This administration is working together to ask big questions about why our nation's children are getting sick so fast. Too often, medicine is doing small little studies, giving us answers we already knew. But we've got to make a difference. You've given us a charge to identify root causes, and we are not going to
What about the root causes of kids getting murdered in their classrooms?
And if you've seen a kid with autism, with severe autism, it's hard to watch. Kids get frustrated.
It's hard to watch.
Angry. They can be crying because they want to speak and they can't.
Like I told you,
speak.
Nazi shit.
It's hard to watch.
Nazi shit.
And
Told you.
It may be entirely preventable. For an epidemiologist, that child is an expanding statistic. But for a child, it can be brutal to have autism.
Right.
Today, the FDA is taking action to update the label on acetaminophen and sending a letter to all U.S. doctors letting them know about the risks in pregnancy. We now have data we cannot ignore. There's a very large study, the Boston Birth Cohort, with researchers that have, from Johns Hopkins, my former institution, and Boston University, found quote-unquote consistent associations between acetaminophen in pregnancy and autism. And the Nurses' Health Study with researchers from Yale, Columbia, and Harvard looking at 9,000 kids found that acetaminophen use in pregnancy was associated with neurodevelopmental disorders. And 4 weeks ago, a Mount Sinai Harvard study reviewed all the existing literature and found the overwhelming body of evidence points to an association. Sure, you'll be able to find a study to the contrary. That's how science works. But to quote the dean of the Harvard School of Public Health, there is a causal relationship between prenatal acetaminophen use and neurodevelopmental disorders of ADHD and autism spectrum disorder. We cannot wait any longer. And honestly, there's been this perfunctory, reactionary, mindless practice in medicine. I learned it in medical school and residency. Just treat all fevers, low-grade fevers, treat them with acetaminophen. Why? What are we doing? A study out of Hopkins actually showed that treating a fever can prolong the duration of illness in a young kid. Maybe that's because a fever is a body's natural way of ridding an infection.
Wow.
When my wife was pregnant and delivered our son a few months ago, they pushed her to take acetaminophen for a low-grade fever. She said no, and then they looked to me and I said, absolutely no. I'm also here to announce good news. Today, the FDA is filing a Federal Register notice to change the label on an exciting treatment called prescription leucovorin so that it can be available to children with autism. You know, autism may also be due to an autoimmune reaction to a folate receptor on the brain, not allowing that important vitamin to get into the brain cells. It's a fairly established, mature pathway. Again, we have a duty to let doctors and the public know we are going to change the label to make it available. Hundreds of thousands of kids, in my opinion, will benefit. One study found that with kids with
folate drug?
Folate deficiency, 2/3 of kids with autism symptoms had improvement, and some marked improvement. Mr. President, you told us to do what's medically right, to go bold, and not worry about the corporations and the lobbyists. So that's what we're here doing today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Good, thank you. Thanks, Marty. I think you all appreciate the passion in the president's voice. We've been hearing that since the inauguration. In fact, even before the inauguration, the president was upset about what he spoke to today. And so together with Secretary Kennedy, who's made it his life's work to address some of these challenges with autism, they challenged us. In fact, they were harsher than that. They wanted no silos to break down what the NIH would do, what the FDA would do, what CMS would do. They insisted that the physician leaders bust through the clutter because their agencies had the power. If we didn't do what every other prior administration had done, which is to let people function within their siloed environments. Because of that, in historic fashion and a very accelerated manner, we have a response today to the autism crisis. It is the first of several chapters, but this is breaking news. You've heard some of it. The response to the autism crisis is going to continue to come to you under Secretary Kennedy's leadership, and the president wouldn't have it any other way, as you've heard. The FDA, based on NIH research, is approving prescription leucovorin for treatment of autistic children. Now, if you're following the script, there should be two questions that you have, two questions that should come to your mind. The first is, how will patients and parents get access to the treatment? I'll tell you how. Over half of American children are covered by Medicaid and CHIP, government health insurance, over half. Therefore, because they're covered in Medicaid and CHIP, upon this label change by Marty, state Medicaid programs in partnership with CMS will cover prescription leucovorin around the country. It's yours, but you have to go to a doctor to get a prescription because they know your child, they know you, and they know the medication. States will also have tools to monitor its use and ensure appropriate utilization. That's important for a bunch of reasons because we want the right kids getting the right prescription medications. We believe private insurance companies will rapidly follow our lead if they have not already done so. And again, to make sure that this is safe and effective treatment, you need a physician to prescribe the medication because it's on prescription. Second big question. How are we going to collect clinical data to answer the big questions that the president is asking and the secretary insists that we offer? CMS is also issuing guidance to convene states and existing research networks to support NIH and FDA in their research efforts of prescription leucovorin, while also maintaining the privacy of all patients, all health information of our beneficiaries. Collecting real-world data, which is what many of you have been asking us to do in the community, is fast. It is life-saving, and we'll get answers based on what happens over the next few months with this approach. The aggressive approach, and it is aggressive, demanded by the president and by the secretary, have already identified risk factors and opened the door for the first FDA-recognized treatment pathway for autism. It is the first of its kind, and it wouldn't have happened without the leadership of the president and the secretary. The fivefold increased prevalence of autism over the past 25 years demands a rapid response. The average clinician, researcher, we spoke to many, thought it would take 5 years to get this data. Parents are unwilling to wait 5 years. The president is unwilling to wait 5 years for these results. So the president and the secretary are acting today with this tri-agency move. The administration's bold actions investing in groundbreaking research follow the science. They restore trust, which has been lacking, and they will change the trajectory for millions of American families. Mr. President, God bless you for being brave. So let me introduce Dr. Fink, who's acting administrator, and after Dr. Fink, we've got some wonderful women, Jackie and Amanda. I know it's going to be tough, but if you can make some comments about this historic day, God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity to speak with all of you today. As a pediatrician and mom, I'm here today to talk about what this announcement means for the millions of moms and dads who are faced with the choice of whether to take acetaminophen during pregnancy. It's hard to hear information that challenges the status quo. We are sharing this information not to confuse, but to empower parents to make the best choices when taking medications during pregnancy. We are all concerned about the rising rates of neurovascular.
This is like ivermectin. This is ivermectin 2.0.
President Trump and Secretary Kennedy are dedicated to radical transparency so that patients have the best, most up-to-date information. We are also sharing this information with our nation's doctors, and we encourage you, as always, to consult with your doctor to make the best decision for you. All too often, it's easy to think that medicines we buy without a prescription pose little to no risk for the mom or the baby.
What?
As you heard today, pregnant women who need high fever or pain reduction during pregnancy should take the lowest effective dose of acetaminophen for the shortest possible duration.
They're trying to destroy over-the-counter drugs and things you guys can access for private privately owned. This is just more money to the pharmaceutical companies in the end. That we have to wait for it. You have to wait for your prescription, and it takes forever, and it costs a fuckload more. That's exactly what this is. Ain't nothing about fucking autism.
Most women will not meet these indications during their pregnancies. I am encouraged by these developments today because it is another example of our commitment to the American people to leave no stone unturned in improving the health of
all of this is bullshit. It's just to take away your over-the-counter drugs that you can access at Target or whatever. That's what this is.
nation's children. Next, I'm going to turn it over to some incredible mothers who are going to share more about their stories, and we're so grateful to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President and team, for all your work. This is an historic day, and I'm thankful to be here. I have a son who's 5 who is profoundly autistic, and you've probably heard if you've met one autistic child, you've met one autistic child. It's a spectrum, which I don't think the spectrum is helpful, but that's another
Mom.
conversation. He is an amazing little boy, a blessing from God. He's marvelous. He can count to 1,000. He knows all of his letters and the sounds they make and a word for each one. But he also has a lot of obstacles. He is nonverbal. He can say those numbers and letters, but there's no communication. Unless you've lived with profound autism, you have no idea.
Really?
You have no idea. He, like you said, he will get frustrated because he can't speak. It's not even that he can't speak. Sometimes he just doesn't understand what I'm saying. He understands the word no, but he doesn't understand the why behind the no. And that's a huge part of discipline.
As a mom, you teach him that.
To discipline a child with autism so you have these behaviors.
Really?
And it's a very hopeless feeling. It's very isolating being a parent with a profound autistic child. Even just taking them over to your friend's house is something we just don't do because, again, they're going to be met with no,
Really?
and no understanding of why. And then there's a meltdown. And then you're in a situation where you're just helpless and you're just trying to protect your kid. So it's just better not to do it. You learn your limits, and it's been really hard.
Wow.
This is amazing that we're here today. And no one has been able to point to anything.
She hates her kid.
This is what caused it. And you can't point to that and say it didn't cause it. I have no idea. I'm completely open, not blaming anything, but I'm open to the discussion and the fact that there's work being done to find answers. I'm very grateful. I was already excited to vote for Mr. Trump anyway, as
Yeah,
president.
looks like it.
But when we got word of RFK doing his work, I was ecstatic. I could not wait for this work to be done, that somebody would try to find us some answers. I'm just very grateful. I pray for my son every day and hope that he can get the help that he needs. And just thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johnny. You take care of yourself.
You're a dog shit mother. Nope. Dog shit mothers should not be clapped for because you don't know how to communicate with your own children and you haven't tried to, because you haven't gone the extra mile to be like, oh, well, clearly my child needs more care than other children, and the way I want to discipline my child is not going to work here. Maybe you could do that, fucking dog shit mom. People like that don't deserve to be parents. People like that don't deserve to have children. I'm just saying, I don't give a fuck. You do not deserve to have a child if that's how you are.
I'm also extremely grateful for
Meanwhile, parents out here are struggling to have kids, and they would love to have children and raise them however. But people like that get kids.
Opportunity to be here and share my son's story. My son is Eddie. He's 11. He's on the opposite end of the spectrum from what Amanda just explained. He's considered high functioning. He was not always high functioning. He was nonverbal till the age 4. We've had quite a hard time to get to the place where we are today. I am just so grateful to President Trump and the entire administration for finally listening to moms who have been crying out for help, for answers for years. I've met so many other moms with children on the spectrum in the 9 years since my son's diagnosis.
Right.
And they all have very similar stories. And they've all just wanted somebody to listen.
Somebody take my kid.
Or look at them like they were the crazy people.
You are.
It's hard when you don't have doctors that take the time to really listen and find out when the change happened and what change happened. And
They do.
it's just, I've been praying for this day for 9 years, and I'm so thankful to God for bringing the administration.
Wow. God
into
brought
our
the
lives,
administration.
And I'm speechless. This day is a day I never thought would happen. I thought that we would never have an administration that was courageous enough to look into things that no prior administration had. So I'm just here to express my gratitude, and I am looking forward to what comes from this, and hopefully we just get more answers. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So I just want to say acetaminophen is basically Tylenol, essentially, because I noticed that term is used throughout this conference.
Tylenol is a brand.
So it's essentially Tylenol. And I just recommend strongly that you don't use Tylenol unless it's absolutely.
Okay, just Tylenol, guys. I hope Tylenol sues this
I understand
administration.
it's maybe 10% of the women that are pregnant are, would
Don't take
perhaps be
Tylenol.
forced to use it. And that would mean
Advil's fine.
you just can't tough it out. No matter what you do, you can't tough it out. So that's up to you and your doctor. But there's a very strong recommendation, maybe stronger from me than from the group, because
Really?
they're waiting for certain studies. I just want to say, I want to say it like it is. Don't take Tylenol.
Right.
Don't take it. If you just can't, I mean, it's fight like hell not to take it.
Fight like
There may be a
hell.
point where you have to, and that you'll.
Same thing he told his supporters on January 6th before he told them to go to the Capitol. Fight like hell.
You have to work out with yourself, so don't take Tylenol. Other things that we recommend, or certainly I do anyway, is, and it's so important to me to see the doctor 4 times or 5 times for a vaccine. Don't let them pump your baby up with the largest pile of stuff you've ever seen in your life going into the delicate little body of a baby, even if it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You just break it up into, I would
Little
say
pieces.
5, but let's say 4 visits to the doctor instead of 1.
4.
And certain things I think you should do. We've already taken out and are in the process of taking out mercury and aluminum now. You know what mercury is. You know what aluminum is. Who the hell wants that pumped into a body?
Wow.
And there were rumors
Wow,
about
wow.
both of them for a long time. But we're having them taken out. We're having them taken out of the vaccines. Hepatitis B, again, that's sexually transmitted. And we think you should wait. I think you should wait till 12. You know, I'm just making these statements from me. I'm not making them from these doctors, because when they talk about, different results, different studies, I talk about a lot of common sense, and they have that too. They have that too, a lot.
My sense.
But I recommend the hepatitis B. Take it at 12. Sexually transmitted. You don't have to give it to the baby when the baby's 2 years old.
That's not the only way that hepatitis B is transferred. That is not the only way that hepatitis B is transferred, you fucking loser. You are a fucking loser as
a
a
lot
president.
of theories on
This guy is a fucking
that, but
loser.
not when they're 12. It's not.
Needles can transmit it. Blood can transmit it. The pregnant, the mother can give it to the child. This is fucking
Doesn't seem to
stupid.
be a problem at all.
Holy fuck, bro.
MMR and the chicken pox. Chicken pox has already been broken out. It's a singular shot, but the MMR is not. And I've heard for years that there's a problem with it, but they say that there's no problem if you do each shot separately, not put together.
Right.
So an MMR, go out and do it separately. Don't take Tylenol. Don't give Tylenol to the baby.
You know that you can transmit hepatitis B on a toothbrush. Did you guys know that? If you share a toothbrush.
After the baby's born, every time the baby gets a shot, the baby gets a shot. They say, "Here, take a cup of Tylenol." I've heard that for years. Take Tylenol.
You know what? No, you know what? Darwin Award. If you listen to this administration or this presidency for your health care, you know what? At this point, let them. let them go ahead. Just don't let it happen to you. Don't take this advice. But the people that are going to, natural selection. It is what it is.
Don't take Tylenol. Don't.
You know what? Listen. You know, actually, this is the worst people that support this administration are going to follow these guidelines, and they're going to fuck around and find out. And like, let's just let that happen. That's you know what? Life is supposed to happen a certain way. So it is what it is.
Now Tylenol.
It is what it is.
People that aren't.
Go ahead.
Pregnant, that aren't
alternative medicine
situation. That we're talking about one very specific.
This hurts us all. It can if you're relying over the counter drugs, because I feel like that's where it's going. I feel like that's where it's going over time, is the over the counter drugs, and you're gonna have less access to those, and that's gonna suck for more than just people that are gonna listen to this. But you know, the first wave will listen to all this shit, and like, you know,
if you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. When you have your baby, don't give your baby Tylenol at all, unless it's absolutely necessary. Don't do it. Break up your visits to the doctors. Break them up. Do it in 5 if you can. Now, it's inconvenient. It's inconvenient. Oh, you got to have to go back another year later. You're going to go back each year for 4 years, 5 years, 3 years. Just break it up. Break it up, because it's too much liquid. Too many different things are going into that baby at too big a number.
Too much liquid.
The size of this thing, when you look at it, it's like 80 different vaccines and beyond vaccines, and 80. Then you give that to a little kid. I mean, I can tell you that I had a woman who worked for me, a beautiful, wonderful woman, worked in Trump Tower, and she had the most perfect child, beautiful, just perfect. And I remember this little blonde-haired boy running around the lobby of Trump Tower, so healthy and so vibrant. And I said, that's great. One day I came in and she was crying her eyes out behind the counter. She worked at the front desk. She was crying her eyes out. I've never, as much as I've ever seen anyone distraught, she was. I said, are you okay? What happened? My boy, I've lost my boy. What does that mean, your boy? My boy, you know him, sir. You've seen him grow up. He was so beautiful. And I took him for a vaccine, sir. And he developed this unbelievable, I think she said 107, 108. You know, it goes well beyond when this happens. It goes up to 106, 107, 108.
Is this at Epstein Island?
We hear 105 and you're in trouble, but it just goes up to a level that you never hear about, but it goes up very high. And it's fried. They get fried.
They fried.
She said,
I'm getting fried.
Developed an unbelievable temperature.
Wow.
And I've lost him, sir. He's gone. And then I saw the boy. It was so tragic to see.
Epstein Island stories.
That was the following day. That was the following day after the vaccine. And I've seen it 2 other times, and I think 3 other times, but 2 other times, where they go to the doctor and they get the vaccine, they get the shot. The kid is, badly hurt. Let's be nice. Badly
Vaccines cause autism. Just say it.
And
you know you want to say it. Just say it.
Just do it. Break it up into 5. Break it up into 4. Break it up into.
You already
3.
said acetaminophen causes it. So what?
4 times instead of once, or 5 times instead of once.
Right.
And for some reason, they insist that you put it all into the body, and maybe that's the drug companies that make more money that way. Maybe it's the doctors because they don't want to be, doing this so much. Maybe it's the doctors. They get maybe more money. Who the hell knows what it is? Don't do it. Get them broken into 4 or 5 visits. Do it 4 or 5. That means you have 20%, 25% what you're putting into the baby's body. It can only help. Can only help.
Right.
And the other things I told you about, just the word tough it out. It's easy for me to say tough it out, but sometimes in life, with a lot of other things, you have to tough it out also. Don't take Tylenol. Don't give Tylenol to the baby. When the baby's born, they throw it at you. Here, give him a couple of Tylenol. They give him a shot. They give him a vaccine. And every time they give them a vaccine, they're throwing Tylenol.
Right.
And some of these
connect
babies,
vaccines to it.
They're long born, and all of a sudden they're gone. And it doesn't hurt not to do it. It doesn't hurt. There's no downside. There's no downside at all. And break up MMR. Break it up. It's practically a known fact that if you break it up, you're not going to have a problem. But for years, we've been hearing how bad MMR is as a combination. And I'm very happy that you broke out chickenpox, because that was really a problem. And there are other things. It's interesting because there are other things, we were talking about it, other different drugs, pills that you take that we know are so bad and they don't take them anymore. But for some reason, with this, they keep taking it. Don't take Tylenol. There's no downside. Don't take it.
Hope Tylenol sues him.
It won't be as easy, maybe.
Tylenol needs to sue.
If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol.
Yep.
And
just
don't
Tylenol.
give it to the baby after the baby is born. And you know what? We have
Don't take it. You can't do it now.
more than 3 years left.
If you take Tylenol, now they're going to come after you, take pictures of your social media posts, send it to your job, and then get you fired.
And I told Bobby and the doctors behind me, and they are so committed to this.
And then ask you, do you condemn the assassination of Charlie Kirk? They'll ask you that right after.
I told them that this
Followed by, do you condemn Hamas?
is the number one thing I want to do from you. And, you know, we have something else called favored nations, where I'm going to be reducing drug prices by 1,000%, by 900, 600, 500, 1,200. We're going to be reducing drug prices at levels never seen. It's called favored nations. We're going to be paying what right now, we're like the garbage can for the rest of the world.
We're a garbage can. We are a garbage can.
We pay much higher for drugs than the rest of the world. We subsidize the rest of the world. We're not doing that anymore. And that's a big thing. That's a big thing. That's bigger than anything. I told the story the other night that I was so proud in my first term that for the final year, drug prices went down 0.25%. And I was so proud. I said, why? I'm the first one to do it. I think it was 28 years, they said, where drug prices went down from the beginning of the term to the end. And I was so proud. I called a news conference. I said, you know, drug prices have gone down. First time it's happened in 28 years. You know what it was? 0.25%. I was so proud. Now we're going to have them go down from $100 a pill to $9 a pill. From $1,300 for a shot of like an Ozempic or
really
the fat. I call it the fat pill or the
fat
drug.
pill. The fat pill.
Sometimes it works, I guess, for people. The ones I've seen, it hasn't worked so well. I got a lot of friends that have fat. They said, yeah, I lost some weight. I said, you don't look it to me. But they paid $1,300, $1,200.
Look at this lady, though.
And then they pay
What's going on here?
$88. And they call me. They go, what's this all about?
That's what she's asking.
In the rest of the world, stupidly, because there are a lot of stupid people in this country running things. And how big is that? But to me, that's nothing compared to autism.
What's going on there?
I see that gorgeous boy. I have a big present for him in the back. You know,
Our president definitely has autism.
Bring him into the Oval Office. I have the best present he's ever going to get. Okay,
Trump absolutely has autism.
Okay, because I heard you were coming. Look how beautiful he is. So that's it.
Okay.
There's nothing much to say.
All right.
Don't take Tylenol.
Don't take it.
And don't give Tylenol to your child when he's born or she's born. Don't give it. Just don't give it. And we're going to have, I think, really, if you do all the things that I say, break it up. Just break it up. Break up the shots with the doctor. MMRs, as I told you, separate. Chickenpox already separate. You do these things. I'm telling you, I want to, when I leave office, I don't want to have, it's going to be the kind of number that we're hearing where it's 1 in 32 or 1 in 10, because I've heard 1 in 10 also. And in California, it's really bad. I want it to be, let's get it back to maybe 1 in 10,000 or 1 in 20,000 or maybe none in 20,000. And the only way you're going to do that, because this is artificially induced. This is induced by something. You don't go from 1 in 20,000 to 1 in 10,000, then to 1 in 10. That means you're taking something and something's wrong. And I feel very certain, and I know I'll be criticized. Someday they'll look back and they'll say, well, it wasn't, but I think it will. I think we're going to have a tremendous, this is the most important thing. There's nothing more important than me. We cured
What's more important than you?
Biden
We know.
He gave us so much inflation.
Oh, my fucking
the biggest
God.
ever in history.
Please.
We got
Please be
inflation
done.
We brought prices down. We gave you the largest tax cuts. All that
Oh,
stuff.
my
It doesn't
God.
mean a thing compared to what we're doing today.
This is an autism announcement for
everything.
sure. Holy
So
shit.
we're going to save a lot of children
Yep.
from
Biden. From Biden.
life. We're going to save a lot of parents from a tough life.
Nice.
Okay, how about a few questions? Let's just make it another subject. This is so beyond as a subject that I'd rather not talk about, some nonsense on the economy. And I will say this.
Nonsense on the economy?
Unbelievable. The stock market just
It's
hit
not.
another record high and all that stuff.
Things are not going
this
well.
means more to me. Yeah, please.
Right. For sure. We know.
On your announcement, one on vaccines that's also related.
Yes.
Why do you think we haven't heard more previously about the tie to autism and acetaminophen?
Nobody knows. I don't.
Nobody knows.
Not only that, when you say it, you get attacked.
Right.
I was saying something similar, not as strongly, because now facts are on our side.
Oh, are they?
But I was saying it with Bobby 20 years ago, and I was attacked. I said, whoa, what was that all about? I had no idea. You get attacked. I don't know. The medical community.
It's because it's been disproven.
I don't know what it
is. It's
All I
disproven
wanna do-
claims.
I don't care about being attacked. It doesn't matter to me. I believe that the numbers at the end of our term or shortly thereafter could be really phenomenal. I want it to go up just like it came down to this horrible level. 1 in 10, 1 in 12. I was told 1 in 10. I was told 1 in 12. Today I heard 1 in 31 if you add the girls and the boys together. It's crazy. And it was 1 in 10,000 and 1 in 20,000. It's not even sustainable for a country. You want to know the truth. And there are other places that don't have it. And they have things in common. And that's called medical research. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, I'm curious as you look at the trend lines,
Yeah.
how much of this is the causation of acetaminophen and how much is sort of better diagnosis, doctors, researchers having a better understanding of what is on the autism spectrum?
Trump is.
That's one of the canards.
Oh, great. My bad translation.
Has been promoted by the industry for many years that it's changed diagnostic criteria, better recognition, but there's been study after study done of that completely debunks that. One of them by the Mind Institute at UC Davis, University of California, but also it's just common sense. Because you're only seeing this in people who are under 50 years of age.
Really?
Better recognition or diagnosis, you'd see it in 70-year-old men. I've never seen this happening in people my age. I've never seen.
You are not a
full-blown autism, and that means profound autism. I want to be very careful. Head banging, stimming, toe walking, nonverbal, non-toilet trained. I've never in my life seen a 70-year-old man who looks like that. You're only seeing it in the kids. It's an epidemic.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was hoping that you could clear up confusion for moms and dads.
I don't even know how to give analysis to this, guys. We're getting in a tough area here. I'm not gonna
A
lie.
statement that was put out by the American College.
Like, how do you disprove just off the wall bullshit?
And in their statement,
How do you do that?
they write,
That's the alt-right for you.
acetaminophen remains a safe, trusted option for pain relief during pregnancy, and that's at odds with what you said and with what many of the experts say. How do you clear up this confusion?
That's the establishment.
Oh, wow.
Funded by
The left.
lots of different groups.
The left, say it.
And you know what? Maybe they're right. I don't think they are.
Maybe they're
Because
right.
I don't think the facts bear it out at all.
Right.
They're fighting for something that, in my opinion, they shouldn't be fighting for. But here's the thing.
What?
There's no downside to doing, other than a mother will have to
Endure
as I say,
pain?
tough it out a little bit. There's no downside to doing
Yeah,
this.
mothers,
It's
tough
not
it out.
like, oh, if you do this, you're going to die. There's no downside.
Right.
There's no downside to going over a 4-year or a 5-year period or a 3-year period, or even if you space them out for 6 months.
What does that mean?
You space it out. There's no downside.
For what?
And that's why I will say the gentleman behind me, they have very strong views, and they feel that we're right, but they'll have more research done over the next 2 months. I said, well, 2 months is a long time. A lot of people could be saved, and there's no downside to doing it. Everything I said, there's no downside to doing it. It can only be good. And I think you're going to see very good results. That's establishment stuff. And we've been reading
establishment
about a lot of
stuff
things for years. And you know what's happened? We've gone from 1 in 20,000 to 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 32 to 1 in 10. Think of it. 1 in 10 or 12 or 1 in 31. Think of it. 1 in 31 people, young kids, get autism. What is it, Jeff?
Oh, my God, brother.
You mentioned that as part of your plan. That is also a chemotherapy treatment. Have you been in touch with the drug companies to increase production about that? And I'm going to throw in my follow-up at the same time. Dr. Oz mentioned that this will be available with CHIP, children who are on CHIP. But the big beautiful bill reduced funding for CHIP and Medicaid by $1 trillion over the next 10 years. Are you concerned that that will impact your ability to get this drug out?
I'll explain it to you in a second, but please go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you. Leucovorin is not a chemotherapy, but it is a vitamin given with chemotherapy sometimes. And the idea here is that the folic acid receptor in the brain is blocked by some antibody response. It might be 20, 40, 50% of kids with autism. And leucovorin will bypass that blocked receptor. And that's why so many doctors are probably seeing so much clinical improvement on kids with leucovorin.
Production.
Yeah, we've been in touch with the companies, and they are prepared to ramp up production.
Of course.
We actually talked to them about a month ago.
Of course.
And on your second part of your nasty question,
nasty question.
The number is that the great big beautiful bill, which is the greatest, I think one of the best things ever passed in the history, with the tax cuts and regulation cuts and all of the things it does. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. All of it does. It also gives $200 million, as just explained by Dr. Oz. And I'd like you to explain that to exactly what you're saying.
The big beautiful bill
Dr.
actually
Oz.
increases Medicaid spending.
This is a TV doctor, guys, in the U.S. He's not a real doctor.
There's also a $50 billion rural health transformation fund.
Well, like he is, but he's a crackpot TV doctor.
The country that the president and Congress are handing to governors to start distributing. Those grants have already gone out. The money will be allocated by the end of this calendar year. And I want to point out that the ability of NIH to do research that feeds and hands the ball to the FDA, which then can change labeling to allow Medicaid programs in states to fund this program, will ensure that the things that President Trump and Secretary Kennedy desire are financially affordable for the families around America.
You mentioned CHIP, sir. That's why I asked that question. You mentioned that CHIP would fund this for children.
Well, most of the kids are on Medicaid, probably 43% on Medicaid, another 8-10% on CHIP. And all the programs in general are being evaluated. Most of what the One Big Beautiful Bill was seeking to do was to remove fraud, waste, and abuse. But the programs themselves should stay financially intact for the people for whom they were designed, and in this case, for children.
And the only
Okay, so they're taking away your Medicaid
cut. So that's $200 billion. Positive. The only thing we cut was for fraud, waste, and abuse, of which there was a lot in this country, and nobody minds that. Yeah, please.
Right.
Mr. President, you said that there is no reason to give newborn babies hepatitis B vaccines. But hepatitis B can be contracted not just through sexually transmitted diseases, it can come from needles to open wounds. So when you say you feel, is that appropriate to be telling?
I think it's absolutely appropriate. I think they should wait till they're 12 years old. Yes, please.
Mr. President, thank you all for being here. You've been talking about reducing autism by spacing out vaccines. Would you like other combined vaccines babies receive to be spaced out like MMRV?
What is this again?
You've been talking.
Speak up, please.
Sir. You've been talking about reducing autism by spacing out vaccines.
Right, correct.
Would you like the other combined vaccines babies receive to be spaced out like MMRV?
I would say yes, but that just is, for me, it's a lot of common sense involved in this. It's a process, but we're looking, but it should at least be given separately. Now, it's possible that you can reduce them and I'd give them in small doses, but it's possible maybe in that particular case, the MMR wouldn't work in small doses, but you can certainly give them as separate shots. It's been proven to be very safe when you give them in separate shots instead of mixing. So I don't think there's any reason to do that. Do you agree with it? I'm not a doctor, but I'm giving my opinion. I don't think there's any reason to do that. So it's been proven to be safe when you break them up. But MMR by itself, I've heard bad things about it for many years. Yes, please.
Mr.
Is the spectrum too broad, in your opinion? For research purposes, you are dealing with a population of children who might have social boundary difficulties, and then you have children who are, going to grow up to be adults in diapers. I mean, what do you think?
We don't know how broad the spectrum is. We don't know exactly where it starts and where it ends, but we do know what we're going through. We're going through some very serious trouble, and we know autism. I mean, it could be bigger, it could be small, a little bit smaller, but the number is unacceptable. And the number, the way it's come down, because the spectrums remain the same, the number, the way it's come down is just unacceptable, meaning come down to that level of 1 in 10, 1 in 12, 1 in 31.
Mr. President, medical professionals.
Go ahead in the back.
President, this question is more directed towards Secretary Kennedy. It was talked about that we're just kind of finding out about the fact that babies are affected this way. Is there a concern that information is being suppressed right now within HHS, and could an investigation perhaps be launched seeing any more information?
Well, I think information has been really not given out very freely over the years, absolutely. And I think that's by drug companies and maybe doctors, but I certainly think that over the years. I think this is a different group. We have a lot of information. And that information, I mean, it's the information that we have that we're making these statements. And I'm making them out front, and I'm making them loud, and I'm making them strongly not to take Tylenol, not to take it. Just don't take it unless it's absolutely necessary, and there's not too many cases where that will be the case. And again, what's the worst? The worst is nothing can happen. It's very positive. That's a positive thing. But I don't believe I don't actually believe that's possible. I think the results are going to be amazing. I want to see amazing results by the time I leave this beautiful building. And I will consider this, I believe, with the wars, I've stopped 7 different wars. I've saved millions of lives.
I called it. I called it. This is the 9th war. This is the 9th war.
Because I know ladies, beautiful ladies.
Sign me up,
like
chat.
that are going through the same thing. And it's not easy. And I admire you for being able to do it. But I admire him, too. I wish I had a face that looked like that. If I looked like him, I would have been president a long time ago.
I've stopped a lot of wars. I'm going to stop this one.
As you make this announcement, do you expect your decision may affect
I hope
other
they follow
countries?
it, yeah. I hope they follow it. Yeah, other countries are, sell Tylenol. Some countries don't. I mean, I hear Cuba. Now, again, you'll have to check this out. But I hear Cuba doesn't have it because it's very expensive. And they don't have the money to have it, or they don't want to spend the money to have it. They don't have Tylenol. And I hear they have essentially no autism. So you have to
autism.
Check it out.
Yeah.
No
autism. Medical professionals have warned for decades.
I said, not you. You're CNN. You're fake news. Go ahead.
Really?
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to go back to the Amish community, if I can, just for a second. I recently saw a man from Minnesota, an Amish man from Minnesota, on a podcast, and the host asked him what the rates were for like ADHD and autism, and he had no idea about ADHD, didn't know that it existed, and certainly didn't know of any cases. What are they doing?
It doesn't exist with the Amish community, and they don't take all of this junk.
Really?
It doesn't exist.
Right.
That tells you.
It doesn't exist.
That's like, that's like certain countries where it doesn't exist and they don't take it. Would you like to make a comment about that?
Like Cuba.
The Amish population, a very mixed group. So there's a subset that take vaccines, a subset that does not. And we know they have very low rates of chronic disease.
No, they have 0. Trump said they have 0. They have none.
Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Should the establishment media show at least some openness to, trying to figure out what the causes of autism are?
I wish they would, yeah.
And why are they so closed-minded?
Wow.
Well, look, it's not only the media, in all fairness, it's some people. When you talk about vaccines, they go crazy. And, I'm a big supporter of vaccines.
Vaccines now?
I got a certain vaccine approved in 9 months that would have taken from 5 to 12 years. I'm very proud of it. A lot of people think it was one of the greatest things I've done, and some people think, mostly Republicans actually, I'll tell you, the Democrats think it was. They think Operation Warp Speed was one of the greatest things any president has done.
It's the only good thing you've done.
It's we're very proud of what happened.
And that was it.
We got hit with something that came from a.
And your base hates it.
But it did happen. Those things.
Your base hates you for it, and it's the only good thing you've ever done. That was like
I'm a big
good.
believer in vaccines. The polio vaccine, big believer in vaccines. I know Bobby and you guys have it out a little bit, but he's a believer in vaccines too. But I've seen how great vaccines can be, how incredible they can be. So I'm a believer. Yeah. Yeah, please.
Your comments made about MMR and hepatitis B, I know you said those were your suggestions, but have you spoken with Secretary Kennedy about actually making those changes?
I have, yeah, I have. I've spoken to all the doctors about it, and doctors that are not here right now. I've spoken to many doctors about everything we're talking about. And, the Tylenol is...
Now you have to ask your doctor what their politics are before you ask them to help you now. Isn't that wild? Hey, are you a Trump supporter? Okay, go find a new doctor. Honestly, I swear to God.
To be spoken of over the last period of time, but we've been doing the research. A lot of what they've been speaking about comes from right here, by research done by these people. And I just say it again, don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. And don't give it to your child after your child is born, and do all those other things, little things, just spread out your visits, et cetera, on the vaccine. And I want to thank everybody. This is a very important day. Thank you very much.
Will you meet with the Democratic leader, sir?
Of course not. What a bunch of horse shit. Wow. Well, a lot just happened there. A lot of unproven claims asserted as facts. We are in the alternative facts administration. Alternative facts. So right away, Trump promotes unproven ties between Tylenol. He said, don't take Tylenol. By the way, here's the... Anytime that you have a MAGA, just put this in their comments from now on. So if you ever see a MAGA with MAGA feelings, just post the autism announcement meme right in their comment section and say nothing else. Anytime you see like, I am Charlie Kirk, put that in their comment section. Put this. Where is it? There you go. So, you got Trump promotes unproven ties between Tylenol vaccines and autism without the new evidence. Trump announced the new FDA recommendations on Tylenol use while speaking from the Roosevelt Room of the White House, accompanied by RFK Jr. and other crackpot losers. The president said Monday that the FDA will be notifying doctors that the use of acetaminophen can be associated with an increased risk of autism. So honestly, they tried to blame a bunch of things on autism in this announcement that was autistic in itself. Like what an ironic thing to happen about an autism announcement in the most autistic way possible by the most autistic president, in a bad way though. The president said Monday that the FDA will notify doctors about the use. Trump has not offered medical evidence for the FDA's new recommendation. He also raised unfounded concerns about vaccines, which he tried to loosely link that vaccines are linked to autism, which there's absolutely zero evidence of. There's zero evidence that acetaminophen links to autism either, but there's people that have feelings. Okay, like they had the women on there, like the two mothers that represent the 30 to 40% of MAGA Nazis that are upset that their kids have autism, and so they try to blame other things other than their own genetics, and then learn how to deal with that. Right? Like you're the genetics, like it's your genetics that you pass down. It's your child. Take care of them. Don't act like it's an otherworldly thing that's caused the neurodivergence. Like look no further than your own genetics. And then the environment that they can be placed in could be a good one or a bad one, depending on how much you actually care for your kids and how much time you're willing to put into making sure that environment is an environment in which the child can thrive. Oftentimes it requires homeschooling and deeper commitments. Other than people that aren't willing to do that, want to cry and place blame where it doesn't belong, as if like the left. And that's really what they're doing. Just wait for it. They're going to blame the left for autism. They're going to blame the Biden for autism, trying to blame everything for it, other than like it's just part of genetics. And we also have ways to test for it more now. Okay, so it gives the fallacy that something's creating more people with autism, like there's an autism machine out here. Anyways, we're testing more for it, so it's being detected more, and people that are and kids are going to get tested for it, so that way they're not just raw dogging life like my generation did, like millennials and Gen X and everyone else after that had to, and still do. Most of us is raw dogging it. It sucks. I'd much rather have known that, hey, like I got something going on than just be like, I'm lazy. Like, you know how many times I was told as a kid I'm lazy? And I don't have, and like, oh my God, you're running out of time, Andrew. You're so lazy. I don't know why you're so lazy. I don't know why you're like me. I don't know why you can't do this. I don't know why you can't do that. Because I don't give a fuck about it. I didn't care. If I don't care about it, I'm not doing it. Or I'm putting the least amount of effort possible into it. And I wish I would have known that, like, as a kid, and been able to develop that self-awareness as a child to understand that, hey, like, I am fine, or I'm normal, and like, it's just my brain is different, and how I think about things is different, and how I act is different, or how my reactions to things are different than neurotypical people. And that doesn't make that you're like an outlier. It's just, or the environment around you needs to be aware of that. They need to be understanding of that situation. And especially as parents, you need to recognize that and do everything you can, and not try to blame extra existential like things other than, number one, again, it came from your genetics. Your DNA gave it to them. So something along the line there with you, like you probably have autism and you never got tested for it when you were younger. And you as a parent had to struggle coming up, and like, you think, well, then my kids should pick up their bootstraps like an idiot. You want them to suffer through raw dogging life without having any treatment? Like, it sucks, actually. It does. It really does suck. You learn better social skills, I guess, so we can fit in better. And like, you just learn that. So you, like, social situations can be easier to navigate, but nothing else is any easier. Nothing else is any easier at all. Like, and having the help of that would have been significant as a kid. And so, but also, I think it wraps up into the further of making over-the-counter drugs. It's like two things. It fits the conspiracy theories of losers of people that view autism as a symptom of vaccines or the left, honestly. Like, this Tylenol shit, like, I hope they sue Trump. But this is just a placeholder, which the real issue was that vaccines cause autism. And really, they wanted to blame the left for it, really. Like, they were alluding to it multiple times in that press conference. But it really is, in my opinion, just to try to get you so you can't take over the counter medications. For example, look at your insulin. Like, if you're a diabetic, insulin is not expensive. Those drugs are not expensive to make, and they should be over the counter. And people like Mark Cuban and his program he has, which make prescription drugs affordable, and you like, basically you just, like, they're over the counter, but usually you got to get the brand names at in a prescription, which costs so much money, and your health insurance has to cover it. Otherwise, you're paying thousands of dollars for a medication, in which a lot of it is over the counter. You can find an over the counter version that's far cheaper, and you can go buy that. And I feel like they're making it so more money goes into the pharmaceutical companies because they're directly connected to them, the Republican Party and Trump. And instead of like having access to affordable pain meds, and there's loose, and in reality, there's unproven, no peer-reviewed claims that link acetaminophen to autism. Their claims are out there. They're out there. People said some stuff, but there's no peer-reviewed anything that lead to acetaminophen as it relates to autism. It's just unproven claims and conspiracy theories. And that's what the theme of this administration is, if you haven't noticed. It's conspiracy theories and unproven claims. And then even when RFK Jr. went up there and said, 30 to 40% of women believe this, and people forever told them not to believe that, and we're going to appease them, instead of just telling them, hey, actually, you know what, you're wrong too. You know what? Sometimes you are just wrong. And because you have a different belief than the people that tell you you're wrong doesn't make you right. Actually. And it doesn't always make the person that's opposed to you right either. But a lot of times if there's like peer-reviewed scientific data and evidence, then you have an opposing opinion to that. You got it from somewhere. Someone else gave you that opinion. Some podcaster or gut feeling that is also not proven by anything. Like, who the fuck are you to know more than the scientists and the doctors that spend all day looking into this shit? I know I don't know more than they do. I don't know more than they do at all. Trump didn't even know how to say acetaminophen. He was like, how do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce aceta who? Sounds like he didn't even know how to say it at first. He came out and said what? Like, right.
So I've been waiting for this meeting for 20 years.
20 years.
A long time ago. Today we're at this historic step. Christ issued to the forefront office I was a developer, came from, and we think. We understood a lot more than a lot of people who studied it. We think.
We think.
And I say we think because I don't think they were really letting the public know what they knew.
But it's just like it's another ghost. It really is another ghost that they're fighting against, that the Trump administration's fighting against, which is like the culture of the country moving away from crackpot conservatism completely. And like they're double downing on it. Okay. Why am I being tagged in OSINT Defender tweets? Identify and draw. Okay. I'm not a geopolitics person first. I gotta stop. I'm focused on American news. If geopolitics becomes a giant issue again, then I'll start covering it. But we are in the middle of a crisis in America, and I'm struggling to care about other countries right now. I really am with the situation that we're in. Like, I hope the best for everyone. Obviously, I care about Ukraine. That's like probably that's like the one country outside of my own that like I have more care for. But like we have a problem, and I'm like not responsible for geopolitics. I try, like I do what I can, and when news comes up, we will. But I'm more dialed into our country, and like we're gonna fall. Like our country is collapsing. Okay, like I get it though. Things are happening. The U.S. is not the only place in the world. It's not the only country, but it's my country, and I fought for this country for 10 years. Honorably, 2 honorable discharges, made the rank of sergeant in the United States Army and led soldiers for this country. So I care more about the United States and my country than I will for others when news is happening. Like I hope for the best for Copenhagen. I hope that I don't know what the drones are. I'll look that up afterwards.
Sustainable for a country. You want to know the truth. And there are other.
I don't know what to do with that. Like I'm locked into the fall of our country. If you're like a European or whatever, and like things are happening, then let me know, and we'll do the best we can to. I mean, our community is all dialed in. We got people from all over the world, obviously, that follow and watch. But I mean, help! Our country is collapsing here. Like the United States is literally collapsing under this presidency, and people don't. America was just there, I guess. I know we talk about America all the time, and like that's the only news about everything all the time ever. But like when they're doing bad. Or like, oh God, the election cycle last year was just so bad. Meet your new FBI. Like the takes from people that like had no idea about American politics, but they talk about America all day long and like about what we do here. But then when you actually get into the politics of it, no one actually knows what the fuck they're talking about or like the actual threat of this administration. People that are aware of it, obviously, but I'm talking about like just the general geopolitical takes about America that I'm hearing from others. At least, you know what it was? I probably have a skewed opinion on that, and bear with me because I was stuck in the Ukraine community, and that was bad because they were very close-minded and tunnel vision as to Ukraine, and they only really put their efforts into like the support, which is great. But boy, did they ignore the outlying factors, the outlying threats, the external threats that were coming, the infiltration of the pro-Ukraine community, all took place, and then no one cared. No one cared at all. So like I am in a tunnel vision of geopolitics that I'm trying to break free of, so I could be just viewing it in a different way. Because the tunnel that I was in under the Ukraine community did not give a fuck about America, especially Europeans. Like they were obviously focused on Ukraine, and you got a biggest war since World War II happening, and I understand that, and that's why I can empathize with it, because like you got a war taking place in Europe. But like when it came to the threat of Trump and the threat of MAGA the whole time, people that were calling out that this was coming and that it was going to end support to Ukraine. It was going to make Europe a lot harder to deal with, like in terms of help at all to anything European. And then we'd have our own domestic issues in terms of the country would not be able to support anything because we'd be fighting. I said all of this last year going into the election, and what happened? Trump won, and we're living out everything I unfortunately said was going to happen because of how MAGA was talking. And during the Russian invasion of Ukraine, I was covering domestic American politics also. Not as much as I am now, but I was covering it the whole time to make sure people knew what the fuck was happening. And it did push a lot of MAGA away because MAGA wanted to both support Ukraine, but also follow their favorite content creators that say Ukraine is a Nazi country. Not my problem. Not my problem. A lot of brain broken people followed me for Ukraine that are right wing. And I didn't realize this right away, and I should have right away, that are right wing. And you're so brain broken to where you see Trump absolutely turning the back on Ukraine. And he's the same way for domestic American politics, because like Trump says a couple good things you like, which are probably racist and bigoted in general. That makes him a good president. So tired of that. I'm so thankful that I broke out of that too, which I have. That was such a tunnel. And like the creators in there, and like it just was not good, nothing good. Because anytime you spoke out against Trump or MAGA or anything within there, you got like as if you were the one being divisive. Oh, you're turning away potential you, as if like Ukraine supporters were like a product, and you were like you were going against the like you were being I got canceled from it. I'll just be honest. I never would have made it into the mainstream pro-Ukraine community, I guess, of like creators, because I was actually calling out problems. And in a space, if you start calling out problems, you become the problem. And that's also never good in a movement. I'm going to be better about that in the future, especially like in this Trump movement. I'm not looking to be a top creator. Like people are like, go meet this person and that person. I'm like, I'm seeing a whole lot more creators that are locked in against this administration. And boy, are they great. Boy, are they great creators, or like TikTokers or whatever. But like, I don't have an interest in being like on a pedestal with them. I've already tried that. I tried it once, I'll try it again. I don't care. Because I'm going to probably say some things about Democrats in the future that they don't like. So I don't care. But anyways, all that to be said, our community's lit. We have a great thing going here. Shout out to the Renegades. I got to get going to my softball game now, though. I got 3 games tonight. 3 softball games. You got a triple header. So if you guys want to take a break from news, which I do that, come on over to the Renegades.
Thanks as well, of the Centers for Medicine. And
come over to the Renegade softball channel. Oh my God, if I can type it in. Renegade softball, and I've got 3 games for you tonight. And then when I get home, I will play Silent Hill F. I'm in the mood for a horror game or something. But I missed last week because of the news. I like literally just missed my games. I didn't try to, but I was okay, time to go to softball. The game was already happening. Like I was late. Sucks. So I got to get going, guys. Come and check us out, though. Renegade softball. I know it's 3 games. We have to, though. 3 games. I used to play tournament ball, so I know how it goes. But yeah, the Renegade softball, I'll put the link in the chat, or just come over to YouTube, type in Renegade softball, and you'll find it. And then when I get home after this stream, we'll be on my gaming channel, which is Mercado Gaming. And we'll be playing Silent Hill F. But that's going to be later tonight, though. Like 9, well, no, later on, because the game doesn't come out till like 11. So later tonight on the gaming channel. I've been playing The Division for the irony lately. It's been actually a blast. A lot of my view count on my gaming channel is going down because a lot of people are on news. But help, like come back and go watch news again tomorrow, especially if you're in my community. Like it is what it is. Okay, we're not going to be able to change the news. So maybe come check it out, but don't feel obligated to. I mean, it's just fun. It's just something to take your mind off of it. And we have a really good community. We have other people that are in the community that play with me. Or like if you're a subscriber of the channel, we play, and they're a good time too. So come and take a break for a while. And I don't game some days, like I will, I guess. Here, this was a Saturday though. Or this was Thursday. I played all day that day, 7 hours. Those streams, you for sure got to go see what's going on in the news. I get it. Those streams for sure. But some of these though, 3 hours, 2 hours, come take a break. Come take a little break when I'm playing for shorter. But some days I do play like all day because I'm just over it and don't feel like doing anything else other than gaming. Okay, guys, like and subscribe. Join the Discord server. Link is in the description. Thank you to all my Twitch followers. I'm glad to be back over there. I do see your guys' comments. I do have YouTube up as the primary chat, though. I'm trying to get a multi-chat up that actually works so I can see your comments better, but I have the YouTube chat up. But I see Twitch, Facebook. Shout out to you guys as well. Follow on YouTube. Come over to Twitch. Check that out as well. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good night. Peace.